Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Teacup for One Oscar Movie Marathon. My name is Matt, and I have 2 degrees, and we are back here once again discussing yet another Best Picture nominee in the race for the 2024 Oscars. This week, it is Past Lives. Now, this movie is a little bit different from the ones that we've talked about the last few weeks, because the other movies, they had a lot of other, above-the-line nominations in like the big categories, especially Best Actress. We've been watching a lot of Best Actress movies through this marathon. This one, however, it's one of those weird anomalies where it did get a Best Picture nomination, but that's pretty much it. It got a nomination for Best Picture and I believe Best Original Screenplay. And yet somehow nothing else got nominated. I remember when we had our Oscar nomination debriefing discussion a couple of weeks ago, Lisa came in and her whole thing was hashtag justice for Greta's because of Greta Gerwig's snub, but also because of Greta Lee? Because of Greta Lee's snub for this movie. Yes, that's it. Greta Lee, who is the lead in this film. And now having seen the movie, it's so hard to say what's a snub and what's not if you haven't seen all the performances that were nominated, but Greta Lee carries this movie, and she is so good. She's so good, but we have so much to discuss with Past Lives. Let's bring in our first guest, and thus far the only one who's here. It's Jeanette.
It's Jeanette. Me. That's who I am. I show up to the party. I'm the first one there.
The others are getting their 8,000 encounters in with other people right now.
Yes. Yeah.
They're making investments for their future lives. And
I keep wanting to call it ennui, but that's like a different language and a different word. And that's not how you say the word in the movie.
Is it the same concept, but just in a different language?
No, I don't even know what the concept is in French. I just know that it's a French word and it's a concept in French. But it has nothing to do with it. Every time they would say it, I was like, it sounds like ennui to me. It sounds
like. All right, then. Well, here we are. Welcome, Jeanette. Welcome.
Welcome.
Oh, I didn't think of an opening question for today.
Who do I think I was in a past life?
Yeah, actually, let's go with that.
Which I don't particularly have an answer for, other than when I was a child, I had a dream that for some reason wasn't just a dream. I distinctly woke up and went, that was a past life that I just saw. And I was riding on a train with red velvet seats. Though now, in the future, having ridden the Hogwarts Express at Universal, that could have been a premonition of the future, not a view of the past. So, just saying, it was very similar. Why not both? Maybe I literally went to Hogwarts in another life.
Maybe you did.
Maybe I did.
I read a viral post once on the topic of past lives, and it might have even been a post that was like communicating a philosophy or something. It felt much deeper than somebody who like just went onto Tumblr and typed something out, but it was saying that it was a story about someone who died and like went to whatever the afterlife is, and then they were told, oh, you're going to be reincarnated now. And the whole idea is that every person is reincarnated as every other person in history, so it's like the same human just going through all the different lifestyles and all the timelines, everything. And he was like, does this mean I'm Hitler? And then the person said, yes, you're also all the people that he killed. You're also this. And it was like this idea that everybody is like unified and one for better or for worse, which like really messed up my brain when I read.
Wouldn't that mean there's a set number of human beings on the earth?
You would think so, I guess.
I'm like, doesn't that mean unless multiple souls inhabit one body at the same time?
Well, I think it was like it's the same soul, but like just now it's that soul's turn in this body simultaneous with this. It was hard to wrap my brain around, but it stuck with me because it left a lot of questions like these.
Ooh, yes, exactly. It's very intriguing.
But also on the topic of past lives, I keep on wanting to do this movie for like one of these, but I can't think of the right marathon to fit it into unless we do like an afterlife movie marathon. But have you ever seen Defending Your Life with Albert Brooks, written and directed by Albert Brooks?
No, but I love Albert Brooks.
It's one of my favorite movies. It's Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep. It's like,
what year is it from? Because I love The Muse. That's like my favorite Albert Brooks.
It's before.
Good. I love that period of Albert Brooks thing. Yes.
Like early 90s. The whole thing is he dies right at the beginning and he goes to Judgment City. I think it's called Judgment City. And the whole idea is that when it's kind of almost like The Good Place, if you've seen The Good Place, but
I've seen some episodes of The Good Place. I liked it.
Good Place, it's so good.
Yeah.
So, every moment of your life is being recorded, and then when you die, you essentially have to go on trial to defend all of your life choices, where they decide if you lived a life that was dictated by fear or not, and if you
it's
did.
Very Black Mirror too.
Oh my god, it is so Black Mirror. It's so Black Mirror, and I don't want to give too much away because I just want us to all watch this movie because it's so good.
Yeah, no, it sounds good.
Defending your life.
We should just do Albert Brooks month. Totally left field.
What would it be though? The Muse.
The Muse.
And Finding
That's
Nemo?
my choice. Yeah.
Has he done anything else?
Oh, I'm sure he's done a million things. He's very well known. We just particularly like those projects. I'm sure he's done a million things.
Oh, Muse. I forgot about the Muse. So good.
Oh god, I love that movie.
So let's move on to entertainment news, since that's the fun new thing that we're introducing to kick off these episodes. So there was a fun new piece of news. Did I like break this news to you when I tagged you on Facebook today, or did you already see it?
No, you did break it to me.
Right.
Yes, exactly. And my biggest question, as I told you, is like, what is this based like? Are we looking at just somebody stretching the movie out over a series, or is it somebody with their own take on this piece of work?
And what is the piece of work?
The original stage work, I would assume, but like turned into a TV series.
We
haven't
said the name of the. We haven't said the
name.
Oh,
Amadeus!
Yes.
Sorry, I got so excited. It's Amadeus. Like,
yes,
so when I say taking the movie, the Tom Hulce movie, I call it the Tom Hulce movie. There's a million other great actors in that movie, but you know, some that have been canceled since then, but still a fantastic, hilarious actor. You know, but the if you take that movie and just stretch it out, but you do that particular take on the character, I'm going to be intrigued either way. But that would be my favorite take on it. But
yeah, like, the extent of my knowledge about Mozart is pretty well just from that movie and from that play. I've read the play and I saw the movie once shortly after reading the play, so I suspect it's not totally accurate, and I feel like it's maybe amping up the drama between Mozart and whoever that other guy is.
Salieri.
Yeah, Salieri. But I'm curious just to see how it adapts to TV. Is Peter Shaffer still alive?
I don't know. I haven't read the play. I have looked up bits and pieces of what video evidence there is of like I think it's late 70s stage production.
Is that the one with Tim Curry and Ian McKellen?
Ian McKellen and what's her face from oh god, it's not Touched by an Angel. What's the woman from Touched by an Angel?
Ella Reese?
No, the other the other one that has like a clothing line and stuff, I think.
Oh, the Monica, the in Touched by an Angel, Monica, the
yeah.
Oh, no, is it Valerie Bertinelli?
No. Older lady than that at this point.
Touch?
I have the poster upstairs in my hallway, and I can't remember her name right now.
Roma Downey. Is it Roma Downey?
No, and then I'm thinking of maybe Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. I don't know.
Oh, yes, that is who you're thinking of. The mom from Wedding Crashers.
Probably, yeah, that lady. Anyway, she's the you know, the very vivacious and voluptuous accomplice.
That's what she does. She does it well. But yeah, so Peter Shaffer is apparently no longer with us. And by that merit, I'm very curious to see, because it does, like, it's being billed by Playbill, which I consider reputable in this situation, at least, as an adaptation of Peter Shaffer's Amadeus. So with him not around anymore, it has like Rings of Power vibe to me, where how much of it is you actually drawing from the source material versus you being the producers just digging into a name and a brand that's kind of familiar and making something totally new out of it.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see like what, I don't know how true to the period it is, how true to like, again, like, are we being true to I don't know how true to the stage production the movie was. I'm not entirely sure. I just know I love the movie. So I'm like, I would take pretty much any iteration of this, but I would love to see someone's take on these really, I feel like all the characters in the movie are so grandiose and so overplayed, like in a good way, that I would love to see how that translates to, you know, modern day, because now we're realizing that this movie is old. I don't want to date myself, but it's old.
It's before us though.
It's before
our
we were
time.
born. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I love this movie. That's yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's an older movie. I'd love to see a modern. You could update it. I'd be okay with it a little bit. I'd also
I'm
love
sending
to see
Vince
like
the link. Let's keep talking about Amadeus while I send Vince the link.
I would love to see a colorblind casting of this too. Like
That would be so cool.
that would be helpful because it really doesn't affect anything because it's a true story. I really feel like I don't want to say it affects anything anytime, but like I feel like when you're telling a true story, it affects it the least. Like Hamilton, like it doesn't matter. The story's the same, the players are the same. You could have anybody, it doesn't matter playing those roles.
Yeah, I mean, I personally really like it in things that are just so heightened and like have a bit of a rooting in real life history, but at the same time, it's more so about the characters and the human conflict between them as opposed to like whatever's happening socially or politically. So yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Vince.
Hey,
Hello.
How's it going, everyone?
Good. Welcome, Vince. Welcome.
I'd like to apologize for the folks at home for me being late, but I'm here now. I've returned.
We're happy to have you. I love your hat. So we discussed two things. First, we asked who you thought you were in a past life or your favorite movie about past lives. And then we were moving into entertainment news, which is that there's going to be a TV adaptation of Amadeus, the play/movie. What are your thoughts on all the things I just told you about?
Hey, maybe I was Voltaire in a past life.
I'd buy it.
Yeah, he was a romantic, and he was a master of gripping satire. Not to say I'm a master of gripping satire, but anyway, maybe Voltaire. I don't know. He's coming to mind. Or Mark Twain. I could recycle an answer from last week.
Mark Twain. I was going to say Mark Twain. You really going for Samuel Clemens there, ain't you?
A little bit, yeah. Hey, I appreciate that. And oh my God, Amadeus! I didn't know it was original. Was it originally a play?
Yeah, it was a stage play by Peter Shaffer, who wrote Equus. I think that was.
Oh wow, Equus! Is Daniel Radcliffe going to be in this one?
I wouldn't put it past him.
I think he could be a good Amadeus.
In Amadeus, actually, he would be such a good Mozart. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a little old at this point. Are they going to do like young Mozart?
Well, so the movie, have you seen the movie?
It's on my list.
Oh, it should be high on your list, but that's coming from me, and a lot of people would not agree with me at this point in time, but Matt agrees with me.
It's worth seeing. It's worth seeing at least once. I saw it once, and I didn't regret it.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I mean, to me, it's exciting, and it's edgy for the 80s, I guess.
Did I miss something there? I think I cut out.
No, just exciting and edgy movie for the 80s. I saw you though. It was a great view. It was a great view.
Okay.
Yeah. So here we are, past lives. Let's dive into this movie. So what did everyone think? First thoughts, and I know Vince had seen it before. Had you seen it before, Jeanette, prior to our homework assignment?
No.
All right. So what are your opening thoughts? First impressions?
So first impressions are it's better, I guess. I don't say better than I expected, but I was more invested and interested in it the whole time than I thought it was going to be, just because I hadn't heard much about it. I didn't like the summary didn't sound thrilling, so I was like, okay, it'll be a good movie. And I sat down, and it was enthralling.
Enthralling. Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh, what a nice word.
I found myself I would say that it ranked itself higher on my list than I expected it to come out after all of this, just because I didn't want to look away the whole time.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed my time watching it. I don't want to say I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, because I went in assuming I would enjoy it, and I did thoroughly. Yeah, I guess I didn't know what to expect, although I did have an expectation set with Vince and Lisa saying that they cried a lot. And I was like, okay, I'm waiting to cry. And I didn't cry. I didn't.
No
cry.
kidding.
I know. Lisa looked shocked. I didn't cry. I was invested, and I loved them. And I was waiting for the moment where I was like, okay, here come the tears. And the tears never came. The feels were there. The emotions were there. I suppose. And I was never bored by any means. I loved watching them because I think it's so well cast, and not even just Greta Lee. I think the guys as well are on par with her. Like it's such a good trio. I feel of the three of them that it's a great movie. And the simplicity of it mixed with, I think, the heart is what makes it really good and what makes it work for me, because you don't have to think too much. You just have to feel and invest in what's happening. And I wish more movies were like that, where they just dug into a nice, simple story with really good characters. Like, just give me more love triangles. I love a love triangle. Yeah.
But is it a love triangle? Because like it's really just a love corner. Because
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think those lines connect.
like you need to connect all the dots, not just one corner. You know.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you mean one corner because
So like
what's the
yeah, I
what's
forgot
the-
her character's name, but Greta Lee is like there.
Nora? Yeah, Nora's
Nora,
name.
and then like her husband and her friend are on the other side, and they're connected to
Hold
her.
on, wait, we're gonna
They're not in love
Yeah.
with each other. They could be. In my fanfic, they are.
True. So isn't that characteristic of other movie love triangles? Like if we think of Bella, Edward, and what's his face,
No,
Werewolf.
it's a corner. It's a love.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're all corners.
it's a corner.
Yeah, most of them
Yeah.
are.
Love
I
corner.
made a diagram for
Then
it.
is there anything that is truly a love triangle movie?
Yes,
Yes,
What?
Vicky Cristina Barcelona, like
That's
we
what-
talked
Yeah.
about before.
that's a real love triangle. Yeah. What was the opening question? I'm
It
so sorry.
was who do you think you were in a past life, or what is your favorite movie about reincarnation / past lives?
Oh, I don't have a favorite movie, but for the majority of my teenage years, I was convinced that I was Betty Davis in a past life.
Is that why you did her for Theater Lives?
Yes.
What
Also,
year did Betty Davis die? Was she dead yet?
she was dead. She died October 5th, 1989. And
Oh,
I was
okay.
born October 7th, 1994.
Okay,
So
there was some time.
it's like 5 years and 2 days. I was like, that makes sense. I don't know.
Leap
yeah,
year.
no,
There could have been
Betty
some two leap years in there somewhere.
Yeah. I had this really like short 20-minute solo show where it was about like visitations from my past lives. And so Betty Davis was one, and Queen Elizabeth I was another. I was very obsessed with like these historical white ladies. I don't know why. I think I just was like, yes, I admire your power.
That's
That's
so
a-
cute.
I would
That's beautiful.
please remount that show. I would love to.
Sure. Hey, I might do it. Why not? Yeah. I'll
Yeah,
expand it.
yeah, expand or just do the Theater Lives. I feel like everyone's Theater Lives should have just gone on to be fringe. Well, not everyone's, but a
Not
lot of them were really good. At least in my class, a lot of them were really like shockingly good. So
What did Alex do?
I didn't go to high school with Alex.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's not one of ours. No.
No.
No, one of my
There-
friends did.
It shows.
Jack Nicholson, and he was incredible. It like
Jack
was
Nicholson.
solidified as one of the best.
My ex-boyfriend, who we were broken up with at the time, he did Heath Ledger. And at the time, he had passed away, like I think like a few months before, and so it was all about like his end of life, playing the Joker. And at the time, I was like, oh, like that
That's
was
so cool
That's
and
such an eye
edgy.
roll. But now I look back and I was like, actually, that was pretty good. I was just a heartbroken teenager. It's fine.
Is this the person that I met you through?
I don't
The-
know. Who did you meet me through?
Should we say names?
You
Oh wait,
can
was
say-
it Romeo? Was it the guy who was Romeo in?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes. I wish him all the best now.
Yeah.
High
Actually, I have
school.
no idea what he's doing, but yeah, good.
Yes.
Good luck. Whatever
He
Romeo's.
was a great Heath Ledger.
I believe that.
Great Heath Ledger.
If only
yeah.
because the hair, that he had the Joker hair.
And he had like like the really sharp Heath Ledger jawline too.
Mm.
I don't know, like he portrayed Heath Ledger very well.
Did you do the makeup? Did he have the
I
Joker
do
makeup?
think he should have like gone more into like the Brokeback Mountain era of Heath Ledger. That's just my opinion.
I think the A Knight's Tale era would have been
10 Things I Hate About You. Heath Ledger.
Oh yes.
Anyway, past lives. Here we go. Let's go.
Sorry, yes, past lives.
So Lisa, first impression seeing the movie and anything that you might have gained from it if you had a chance to rewatch it before tonight.
I have not rewatched it before tonight, but it has stuck with me since watching it. I don't know. When did we watch it, Vince?
The week of the Golden Globes.
So like January?
Yeah, late January.
Yeah, January. I was interested in watching this film since September because it was in TIFF, and I'm a big fan of Greta Lee, clearly through my tagline here. And I just like never got a chance to see it because I was busy. And then Vince brought it up. He was like, I really want to see this movie. And I was like, that's why I love you, Vince. We want to watch the same movies. And
Sometimes
when it's not Predator.
We're gonna work that in Arnold Schwarzenegger month. Okay.
I would love that.
You can have Vince all to yourself.
Kindergarten Cop too. No,
I actually like that one.
Twins.
Last action.
Babe, you would like Twins.
Probably.
We do love Danny DeVito on this channel.
I do. I love Danny DeVito in my heart. Anyway, so we found the movie and we watched it, and I was not crying at all at the for like 95%. And I was just enraptured by the movie though. Like even though I was not crying and Vince was, I was like so invested, and I was so drawn in by like every moment, and not just every like Instagrammable quote moment, like the silences and the stares and the cinematography, like it was delightful. And then the very last scene, when the camera shot is like them walking to the place where the Uber picks him up, and they have like their little moment, and then she walks away, and I clearly had the clock of, oh my God, I am going to cry. I'm not going to cry. And then she gets to her husband, and I'm done. Like I'm dead. It is not, I'm like weeping. I haven't wept in like that in a very long time. I'm just like devastated. The grief, the loss, the could have been. It was like my first heartbreak all over again.
I think it's why one of the reasons I really love this movie, because like y'all had said that about the ending. I cried at the beginning, and I cried in the middle, and then I did not cry at the end, and I didn't understand why anyone would.
Oh my God.
Like I literally was like, and I was like, this is so cool that a movie could have like that. It has this disparate, and I was so excited to hear you say why. And now I'm glad I did. Like, it's so interesting to me. I'm just like I thought it was kind of weird that she cried. I was like,
I want to dig into that. Well, maybe it's too early. I want to discuss why did she apologize? What was she sorry for when she said to husband, I'm sorry? And like, that's the last line of the movie. Then they go back into the house. Like, what does she feel she needs to apologize for? I kind of have thoughts, but I want to hear other.
Oh, I didn't hear her say sorry.
Oh, it's very like low volume.
Oh.
I don't know. I think, I don't know. I think it's just, she's so sorry that, like, I think it's a combination of like her being a woman and her displaying this emotion that she hasn't displayed to him. Like they had conversations about the fact that this guy has reappeared in her life, but like there is no feelings and there's nothing for him to worry about. And there wasn't, but I think it's also like the fact that the could have been, and it's the grief of what has never happened but could have happened. I think that's what she's apologizing for. Maybe not even to him per se, but like to the friend that has left, to herself. I think it's like a very impactful story that is not just directed to Ian. Is that his name?
No, I think it's Noah.
Noah.
No, it's Arthur. It's Arthur.
Nora.
Arthur.
Nora, Arthur,
Nora,
and
Hae Sung.
Hae Sung.
Nora, Arthur, and Hae Sung. Yeah. So I think like the I'm sorry is like so delivered in such a gentle, soft way, but I think it's just so much more complex. But yeah. I don't know.
Vince,
What do you guys think?
Yeah. Vince, what was your initial thought on
Oh
that?
my God. Look, I wanted to watch this movie because I saw it displayed at the Golden Globes. I forget what it won. I think it might have just been nominated for a bunch of stuff, and it might have won Best Original Screenplay, maybe. I'm not sure. I feel like it won something at the Globes.
Find out.
Greta Lee was nominated for Best Actress.
As she should have been.
I think so. And so that's how it got on my radar. I would see the clips during the show, and oh my God, I thought the cinematography. Yeah.
Of the Golden Globes. Best Picture, Best Picture Non-English Language, Best Director, Best Screenplay, and Best Actress for Greta.
Yeah.
Did it win any?
No. Oh, wait.
Ah, well, it should have won something. Now, look, this film, we started it. How long do you think it took for the waterworks to start, babe? I think like 20 minutes tops.
I don't know. I think
it was like
they moved away.
When she moved away, I'm like, oh no, this movie's gonna crush me. This movie,
within the first 15
almost
minutes.
Anticipatory crying.
Is it because she had to go to Toronto? Because she had to live in Toronto?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's
parents were leaving. Yeah.
I like that little Toronto connection though. That was kind of nice. It didn't need to be there, but it was.
No, it's nice.
Yeah.
I felt seen in Pearson Airport for those like 5 seconds.
Same.
Do we think that her family brought them to Niagara Falls as a little day trip, and that's why she has the Niagara Falls shirt?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know. I just thought that was such a cute touch.
Oh, that's such a Toronto kid thing.
It is.
And anyway, this movie it was staggeringly enjoyable for me, despite all the crying. And it just felt so raw and real, and the character interactions, and it was so unique in the sense that they could have made Arthur a bad guy, right? Like that's generally the move that you do. You know,
he even comments on it.
I think
that was good insight.
I think you're right in calling it realistic. Like it's raw is good, but it's so realistic. Like it's, I mean, like I don't know the. Let me rephrase that. I don't know the immigrant perspective, but just from a relationship and like, yeah, most likely this guy's not going to be a total a-hole. Like he's probably a nice guy if this girl is with him. Like,
yeah,
that's what I found. I was like, when they showed him gaming, I was like, oh no, he's going to be like one of those, and he's like not going to talk to her or look at her when she comes in. But it was like the most realistic. Like, I'm just going to keep playing for a few minutes to get to a point where I can stop, and then I'm going to put it down and talk to you. It was like the most realistic interaction in that realm of things that I was like, oh my God, they're making this guy a real person. This is amazing. Like, this guy doesn't have to be bad just because he's a white guy in a movie with people of other international descent. Like, this does not need to be.
And he's also like the other guy, the other man. And I loved that conversation when they're in the bed. And he just outright says, like, if I was writing this as a novel, or if we were in a book right now, I'm the villain. And you would like, you end up going back to your childhood sweetheart. And I loved that as a move on the screenwriter's part, which I'm guessing was Celine as well, because it's almost like that's the moment where the movie says you probably have expectations as an audience member about where this is going, and it's not going there.
So one of the things that I really, really loved about this movie, and that I wondered if they were ever going to give it away before the end, but they never gave it up. Sometimes in movies it frustrates me, but in this one it worked. Is I think one of the points of the narrative of this movie is that we are not supposed to know necessarily for sure what's going on in her mind. Like, does she have feelings for him still? Is she just trying to tell him that this is reality? I think that's why the crying at the end just felt like almost mysterious to me, because I was like, is she crying because she's sad that she didn't go with him? Is she crying because she did like had feelings for him and was betrayed? If you say she said sorry, then I'm like, did she feel like she was betraying her husband before this because she was harboring feelings and this was her letting it go? Like, it felt like she was something was lifted off of her. I didn't feel grief. I felt like, oh my God, now I can let that go. Like,
Yeah.
that part, like that's what I got from it. And that's what I'm saying. I love so much that, like, literally, if you take a seed at the beginning of this movie and watch the movie with that seed, that ending means one thing. If you take one seed at the beginning of the movie and take that through the movie, that ending means another thing. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's fun. Like, I would literally love to sit down to this movie and like start it with a different point of view and just see how I felt at the end. It's like a choose your own adventure almost.
I definitely like felt because I the buy-in for me was Nora's storyline, and I did believe that even though she was married in a monogamous relationship and she has built this entire life away from this man that she had a connection with as a child and even in early adulthood, they were rekindling something before she got married. And I don't know, I believed that there was still feelings, and for her, her heartbeat of her character was, what if? Like, what if I stayed there? What if he actually came to the US when we were originally planning to meet? What if I do leave Arthur? Like, and it's not ever meant, like, she never says that. And I think that's the brilliant move on the screenwriter's part, because it's how Greta decide to play it and how the director decides to move through the story. But like, that's why I cried at the end, because I'm like, the what if is done. Like,
yeah,
the what if is over.
Yeah,
and
I felt like the what if was so. That's what I found the most engaging, was especially when the two of them met. The what if was very pertinent for me, because it was almost just like her seeing almost a version of what her life could have been if she hadn't left Korea. And even with him saying your Korean's not that good, and she's like, well, I only speak it with you and with my mom. So like, she's essentially become this totally different person than she could have been, like culturally, moving to North America and then even moving from Toronto and then going from a Canadian upbringing to an American adult lifestyle. Like, I haven't lived the immigrant experience whatsoever, but it, like, that's for the thing that grabbed me the most, was that identity crisis almost I feel she was facing, because
I think this movie
from my past, and like, this is what my life could have been, but now this is what it is. And I found that beautifully sad.
Yeah, I think anyone that's done a major move at any like pivotal point in their lives, like if you've had the either fortune or misfortune for that to happen to you, then I think that even if you haven't had the immigrant experience, that whole idea of having to move and disconnect your life can be relevant. Because honestly, that was some of the things that had me crying in the beginning, was just this whole concept of, yeah, I'm moving and like I'm leaving a life that I've known for my whole life and I'm going to start a new one, like a completely new life. So it's like, that can be scary no matter how far. If it disconnects you from the life you had before, I feel like you can connect with this film. And the thing that also made me cry at the beginning was just this whole nostalgia for first love and puppy love, and which at the beginning of the film, you don't know if this is lasting love. Like, You don't know that. And just that whole, they really like Vince said, it's very raw. I have never ever seen first love depicted as accurately as this movie.
Yeah.
Ever. It's always something different. It's always flowers, it's always arguing or cheating or what. They don't show it how actual preteens and early teens have relationships. Like a majority of them is not that. Like it is just I cry a lot and you sit there while I cry and that's why I like you. Like that's like that is a thing for teenage girls. Like or we have a competitive relationship and so we have a relationship, right? Like that's a thing with kids of that age. And I've never seen it depicted. So I think the last time I saw early love depicted this accurately was My Girl.
I was just thinking My Girl.
Like literally, that was
Right.
probably the most accurate, like young love, like real young love, not teenager, like we're gonna, potentially be losing our virginities or something love, like real early young love.
I loved because I didn't have this in my childhood. My mom was not a fan of me having any feelings for anybody. But like the fact that her mom and even his mom were just like, yeah, they're going to have like a date and we're going to chaperone them and they're going to have a wonderful time together because she's leaving and they are such good friends. Even aside from the crush that they have on each other. And I just thought that was like so like what a good parent move, like to foster and nurture like these wholesome feelings and not to make it like something that either of them should be ashamed of.
Yeah.
And like the encouragement of it all, like, oh my heart. Oh, it was like a very healing moment for me of like, oh, that exists.
Another thing that they didn't like, I would say like they did different or they didn't do is, I don't know. I can't figure out exactly how old she's supposed to be in the main part of the film. Like the 24 years after they were 12. So what is that? 30,
36.
36, sorry, 36.
Yeah.
So my age. So she's supposed to be my age. There's never a mention of children. There's never a mention of, is she having children? Does she have children? Are they like, she's been married to this guy. There's no mention of it. And that was refreshing.
Yeah.
Because I found myself wondering for about 1 or 2 minutes. And then I was like, well, the film's not addressing it. Why the hell do I care? Like, what? Yeah. Why do I care? And
well, she's also a playwright in this economy.
Sure, yeah.
And they're both artists. They're both writers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good if they don't want kids.
No,
I don't
that's
care.
Great.
Yeah.
It's just, I was like, why am I wondering? Why do I care? Why is this a question in my brain?
Yeah.
And I was like, it made me realize that the film didn't address it for the entire time. And that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. There's so many.
What if there was a pair? What if there was a set of kids at home the whole movie, and they just never told us?
I kept wondering if like a kid was gonna wander into their bedroom at night or something, and like we were just being so cool about it that like we didn't care.
That would change everything, wouldn't it?
Maybe.
Well, maybe not.
I think also if that's a choice of if that was an active choice of the storyteller, because if there is a child, Vince has a point. Like, if there's a child there, maybe we care more if she leaves. Like right now, she could leave, right? And it would just be Arthur that she's affecting. She's not affecting anybody else.
I would feel bad for Arthur, though. This film did a great job of making me sympathize for everyone involved in this love corner.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing, like, no kids, but also we never got to see her with her family when they were adults. So, I think it did a very seemingly intentional job of keeping it isolated on just the three of them without bringing in any other relationships. There was a point when she was an adult where my mom said, "Where's Michelle?" It was like, "Oh yeah,
Michelle,
the sister. Where's Michelle?
Her sister."
Yeah. Remember Michelle? And then
no, this isn't Killers of the Flower Moon. We don't get all the sisters and all the. Don't get
Oh, I haven't gone
everybody.
into the chat at all. So here we go. My cat's here through my mom's account. Sabrina, hello.
Hi, Sabrina.
Eliza's here. She's watching
Hi,
my
Eliza.
mom's room. I did watch the movie with my mom and she loved it. Martha.
Oh, Martha. I'm such a fan of Martha. I hope to get to meet her one day.
I'm sure you will.
We are Martha
K
Stan.
Dog and Fish. Woot. Hello, friends. Hello, Funko dealing friends. Love you. Did you watch the movie? What's your pick, K Dog and Fish, for your favorite film in this Oscar season? The whole fallacy of what if question assumes that every branch along the tree of life will lead them to the same end story.
Yeah.
Those are the types of questions that this movie had me asking that hurt my brain and my
That is a thing I've had to struggle. I think maybe many people, anybody who thinks about existential things has to deal with in their life. Like, yes, I can think what if, but it doesn't work just like a tic-tac-toe chart. Like it's more like brain neurons. There's a million different little overlapping. Like you can't just be like, if I did this one thing different, everything after that would have been like, you know. So
this is like this theme of like, what if this circumstance, fate, whatever it may you want to call it. Like, I've been thinking about this so much because this is literally in my play of like, why do people come together in these specific moments and like, why them? And like throughout the movie, I was like, if she stayed in Korea, like if her family didn't move away, we wouldn't have a movie because that wouldn't be interesting. Mm-hmm. She would probably stay. They'd probably continue dating and get married and have kids and have
or not. He says that at one point. He goes, if we had dated from that point on, we probably would have broke up at some point in that.
But that's the what if, like maybe possibly, but also they could have not, like they could have been okay and it would have been fine and they would have, I don't know, who knows? I don't it's just so
it is crazy. Like literally, like let's all just take a second. Let's take a second. Think about like I'm whatever. Everybody's had multiple relationships in their life. I'm just gonna whatever, we'll throw that out there. Just think, like take a second and think like if you decided to stay with one person, do you really think you'd be where you are now just with them? It's like, no, you'd be.
No, I mean, like
it just would have triggered a completely different series of events.
To take Vince and I, for example, we've known each other for 10 years, but we didn't start dating 10 years ago. Like at the time when I met him, I was obsessed over another person. And I thought I was going to end up with that person at that time when I was like 19. And at 19, if you would have asked me at that time,
my Lord,
they would have been. It's true though. Like at the time, like if I were to interview my 19-year-old self and I'm like, Lisa, remember Vince? Like, who do you think you would ever like date him? At 19, I probably would have been like, maybe, but like, I don't know, I'm obsessed with this person. and I want to date them. No offense to Vince at 19. That was my.
I was a mess. I didn't have a beard.
You were beautiful, babe.
And Lisa, to your point, at 19, I was with someone that I then became engaged to. That while I was engaged to, met my current husband. So, like, like that's what I'm saying.
I need to know that story.
I'm just saying, like tendrils, and that's why I loved this whole thing of like these layers of like where you are in your meetings, like this whole idea of these 8,000 layers. It's like, and when he's talking, like maybe our next one is this one, or maybe our one right before it was this one, like just these interesting, and like again to the point of realistic, we don't harp on these things. They're just things they say in conversation, and we think about them as long as we would in a normal conversation, and then the movie moves on to the next thought.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I appreciate about the movie is the realistic approach to it, because there are so many directions that the film could have gone in that would have felt maybe not more conventional but more familiar for this type of story. But I really love how, again, in that scene when she's in bed with writer husband, the guy who wrote Boner, the best-selling novel.
I thought that's what that said. I didn't
Yes, it's
rewind
his
it. I
book.
was like, did that just say that?
That was an amazing
Yes.
Easter egg. I was like, of course, this man.
Martha noticed it right away. She made me pause the movie to rewind. She was like, "That's probably important. His book is called Boner." It's like, no.
Can they release that like as like an Easter egg somewhere, like a book, like a little novella of both?
I would read it. I'd read
I
it.
would, of course.
But I loved how she said, like, there's no question. I have no regrets. You're the person that I chose. And so in the middle of this movie that is just kind of throwing you what ifs and kind of sliding doors, if anyone saw that movie with Gwyneth Paltrow, I think. Yeah. Sliding doors scenarios. She's saying, I don't care about what could have been. Like, this is what I've picked and I'm happy with you and I'm happy with this. So we get a really nice grounded focus and a character that claims she knows what she wants, and seemingly it seems like she knows what she wants, but at the same time you get this idea thrown out there. And what did everyone think of that concept of 8,000 interactions in previous lives before you finally get to be with the person in the next life? Like, to me, that's a completely new concept. I thought it was really, again, one of those things that I will ponder for a very long time anytime I graze somebody in public from here on out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I never knew what like the Korean culture's take on reincarnation was. So that was like a really wonderful educational moment, like culturally, of like what their concept is. And I was like, that is cool. I dig it. I buy it. Because you think like other cultures will be like, oh, like your mom was probably like your sister in your past life, or like your dad was your son, or like your son's going to be your grandfather. Like, I kind of buy into that because I do believe that the people that are those close interactions, I wish to be great.
I was gonna say it
Many
really
do.
gives Disney World and Mardi Gras a whole new meaning.
Yeah,
So,
you're
like,
just raising
how many
everybody.
people am I grazing against? Oh my god, stop!
And which will I marry in the next life?
Oh my god,
It
it's
could
so
be
good.
anybody. Very publicly, very publicly.
This whole idea of like if you just see some, or like if you have contact with someone, it harkens back to the idea to me of if you just see someone once anywhere in public, their face is stored in your brain and they can be in your dreams, because we don't dream about anyone we haven't seen.
Oh, I don't like that.
I don't like that.
Have you never heard about that? You
No,
don't
I
dream
believe
about-
it though, and I don't like it.
Your
I
face
just-
cannot, your brain cannot create faces that you
Why
have not
not?
seen.
But Jeanette, I have dreamt of people that I don't consciously remember seeing. And
Yes,
I'm like,
but
who
you've
are
seen.
they? Those are strangers.
Yeah, there are people in the grocery store. There are people in the background of TV scenes. Your brain is populated with all of the people that you see. So this idea made me think of that.
Oh,
So my background performance in that one episode of Suits means that I could be in somebody's dreams.
yeah,
eating a hot
maybe.
dog.
And most likely are.
Yeah.
Anytime I can drop the fact that I'm a background,
Especially
actor,
since most of those
Suits,
women that watch Suits are not watching it for any of the dialogue. So their eyes are.
why not? The dialogue is so good and snappy.
The only women I've ever known that liked that show were obsessed.
Who?
Obsessed with Matt in the background.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Eating my
exactly.
hot dog.
You were in Suits?
I was a background actor in I think just one episode.
What
And
episode?
granted, you don't really see my face. I think you just see my back. But I know it's me.
A literal background actor.
I need to know the episode because I'm currently watching Suits.
Oh really?
Look, K Dog and Fish says they're binging Suits right now. They have to know. Everybody must know.
Honestly,
I'll try to find out.
Jeanette, I only watch it for I'm a problematic bisexual. I only watch it for the redhead secretary and Meghan Markle. Like, I don't care about the two
I've
guys.
never seen it. I've never seen
It is.
I love Suits. Although Suits went off I stopped watching Suits when they invented the Donna. Like it's a device, but it's Donna.
Oh yeah, that's like in season 3, I think.
No, I think it's like season 6. It's the AI Donna.
Oh,
It's
the
later.
AI Donna, because
Yeah.
Donna is like the other person's secretary.
Yeah. Oh, I love Donna.
The real Donna is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think
mom's
the
hot.
episode is season 5, Toe to Toe. So season 5, episode 5, I believe, is the episode. And so
Dropping it here.
Mike is meeting some guy outside, and so he like walks up a set of stairs, and then the guy says something like, "I remember you used to ride a bike," and I am sitting at the base of the staircase. Mike walks up, and I'm eating a hot dog and French fries.
I feel like that happens in like every episode.
It probably does. Yeah, I'm also in an episode of 12 Monkeys as well.
Wow.
Yes, that was an interesting thing that happened. Which, yeah, one day I'll tell the story off air to not smear the name of an actor who was not very nice. But
I can't wait to hear.
yes.
Can we just go back to the comments from the person who says, "My mother used to tell me, what if?"
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Okay. So as a person who suffers from an anxiety diagnosis, this what if has always plagued me. And I have spiraled. I've been spiraling the last like 3 weeks because of like a what if scenario. And it is paralyzing. Is there any anxiety in this film though? Like, does Nora go through any like palpable anxiety? No. And that is so refreshing. Like, to have a main character deal with the whole what if thing and just like stay calm until she cries at the end. But like, it's breathtaking. I am looking up to Nora as just an anxious little woman from my little corner of the world of like, I want to be you when I grow up. Like, thank you.
One of the interviews I found with Greta Lee, well, the whole cast and crew, but Greta Lee, she was saying that she was interested in the project because she liked seeing a character in the scenario who like wasn't dictating her life by which guy she was going to choose, who was just like confident in, this is who I want and this is the life that I've picked. And when she said that, it really contextualized the movie for me and made me realize that that was one of the things that I appreciated. But I also feel like that gives a lot of power to the what if thing, because there is that moment when she says, when she explains the concept of like 8,000 interactions and shoulder grazes, whatever, and then she says, but that's just something that we say to seduce people, and she kind of brushes it off. But then it's almost like it comes back around to that at the end. I don't want to say as a coping mechanism, but as a way to almost deal with the loss of, this guy's like not my person and I'm happy with who I'm with, but it almost gives hope that maybe one day there's a place for him in her future life, even though she established earlier that that's not a thing she
could she also be crying because she hurt him. Like, she feels like she hurt him. Like, he really didn't move away from the idea. He did not grow out of it. He's been thinking about her this whole time. And she's like,
come back to see her.
We are grown up, you know, like, that's what I'm saying about not knowing what's actually going on in her mind. Because she says things. She says, we're grown up. We're not kids anymore. Like, if you just go based on what someone said, and then maybe that's another like message of this movie, like, people's actions speak louder than their words. Like, if you just simply go on what she says, it's very different than her face and her body says.
I got distracted. I was saying goodbye to K-Dog and Fish.
I know. There's so much activity going in the chat tonight. I love it.
I love a busy chat. Also, thank you for confirming. Yeah, the what if thing.
Welcome. It's true.
When I let myself think about it, but for me, it's for very basic decisions, like what will I have for dinner tonight?
Oh, and it's big decisions for me, because I just watched One Day, the new miniseries on Netflix, and spoilers, but I need to talk about it.
Okay.
The whole concept is that we all have a birthday, and there is one day we're gonna die, and we keep passing it every single year, and we don't know until
I don't like that.
The day we die. And this woman, like with the romantic partner in her life, she keeps passing it, and we see her on this day, all the choices that her and him make with each other or without each other. And is heartbreaking. And I've just been walking through my last few days of like, oh my God, every decision I'm gonna make, there's a possibility I'm gonna die.
Oh my gosh.
And it is not okay. Please don't think like that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
What I like to say is leave the what ifs to Marvel, okay? Just let them handle it.
Yes. And you know what? You can't be stuck in that loop anyway, because then you get nothing done and you don't actually live life instead of just making the choice and being present in the moment. So that is
what if turns into executive dysfunction.
Dysfunction.
Very quickly.
Bedrock, can't do anything. Yes.
Yeah.
No, just it's going to be okay.
This movie is making
High
all of us
five.
question everything.
I feel like, you know what this is? This is everything everywhere all at once, but we can't see it happening.
Can't see the other stuff.
It's actually inside of her. It's just really there.
Yes. Yeah. it's a flipped.
There's a multiverse going on somewhere.
Yeah.
But the sad thing is that there might not be. This could be it. It's just her and whatever his name is, Arthur.
But when there's no multiverse, there's reincarnation. So
Oh,
technically, it's just you're just gonna get
in the
another
next
try.
life. Yeah, there's that. Yeah, we don't need to see it because that's a different movie. That's fine.
That's exactly. That's a
Yeah.
different movie.
So one thing that I heard in those interviews I was watching that I thought was really cool was the director was saying that her process of like making this movie was such that she kept all the actors kind of separate from each other until they needed to be together. Specifically, Arthur and Hae-sung, like they weren't allowed to see each other. So if they were in Zoom meetings, they had to have the cameras off. And the first time they actually met face to face was in the scene when they meet in the apartment. And it was the same for Greta and Taeyu, that they weren't allowed to touch until the scene when they hugged on screen. So I know. So I just want to know what's everyone's thoughts on that. Because usually I'm not a fan of, I guess, broad strokes in theory of method acting type things like that. But I also kind of like it for this movie under these circumstances because I really do feel like it fueled the performances and the tension between them because like that's what kept me engaged was those three and all the interactions. So
that's
what's everyone think?
Wildly fascinating. And I love method acting. I am one of those people that are like, give them the Oscar if they're method acting. But in this case, I would assume that's a director call. I think it reads, and I did not know that, and now that makes a lot of sense, and it makes sense to the authenticity of everything.
I, as like a theater person, I don't quite understand that concept. Like right now, I have two actors that we need to rehearse them being intimate with one another. Mm-hmm. And for their safety, I mean, in this movie, there is nothing. It's just a hug. But like for their safety, like it is a very like big intimate moment that I'm like, I don't want them to be like touching each other anywhere where the other one feels uncomfortable. Like there needs to be choreography and they need to know what's happening. And I remember like in theater school, a teacher had said to us, like, the whole point of acting is not to be like doing the moment for the first time. Mm-hmm. We're supposed to be able to recreate it to the best of our ability as authentically as we can. Like that is the craft of it. So like we have to rehearse. We have to know these connections, even if they are the first time connections. Mm-hmm. And I think like that's really like the really skillful part of acting and storytelling. But on the flip side, I'm also like, if I was the director, like I would love in a film for like two people who need to have their first kiss with one another, have that be the first kiss. So it's cool, but also I'm like, just get your actors to rehearse. Like,
well, it's one of those things where I feel like it's so uniquely filmic that it's special in a way. Like I don't get to act very often, but I was lucky and I got to do it last week. I got to do a film shoot for something that was like actually scripted that was it's very melodramatic. It's like a soap opera, but at the same time, like when we were going through rehearsals prior, and it was a scene where I was yelling at my scene partner, I was kind of just marking it because my mentality was, if I do this full out before the camera's on, by the time the camera starts rolling, it won't feel as fresh in a way that will read for film, as opposed to in like theater world. Like when I was in acting school for my first year or so, like if there were emotional scenes, if I couldn't bring myself to actually cry, I would make different choices that like were whatever I was mentally feeling at the time. And then a director eventually said, no, like if you can't actually cry, you still have to fake it, because that's what the script necessitates. So you just pretend, because there is a level to this where you have to do it like every single night at Stratford, for example, and you're not going to actually be crying every night, but it has to read as though you are. And so I do think it is like
different mediums call for different things for sure. And
I
think for like this movie, it works really nicely.
Yeah, I think there's a time and place, you know. It definitely it doesn't really work for theater acting or stage acting, but in this case where you can, you know, schedule the shoots and coordinate the actors in such a way that you can get away with this, it works. You know, the best example I can think of is in the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, because Gene Wilder wasn't allowed to see the kids until he does his entrance, where he does the he fakes them out, making them think he's geriatric, and then he does the backflip, or the front flip. So cool. Then you get a real reaction from the kids at least.
And I think it's a good thing, well, under the right circumstances, especially to do with kids, not to say like manipulate them emotionally, but I think to Narnia, about how they didn't show Lucy the Narnia set until the cameras were rolling, and like she walked through the winter landscape for the very first time, and like that's what you see in the movie, the Tilda Swinton one, not the BBC one. But I love
that BBC one was great.
BBC one is so good.
Not to keep coming back to Barry Keoghan things, but he had talked about how in Dunkirk they flew real planes over them, like for the sounds and for the scene and blah, 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 and they would take an hour and a half to reset. And one time he didn't hear them say that they were rolling, and he didn't know the planes were coming, and he just sat there and went, oh, look at that, or like, oh, you know, what's going on? And then Christopher Nolan was like, what did you just do? He was so mad. And so I think it's cool to know that things as big as that, or something just as little as people not touching or hugging before. Also, could you not feel the awkwardness between those guys when they first met? Like I felt like that was palpable. That was nice.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is why I'm not interested in acting anymore, or at this point in my life. Because like if a director told me like, this is what you're gonna do, and you're not gonna meet your scene partner, I'd be like, what the fuck? No, like I don't want, like I want to prepare. An actor prepares. An actor prepares, and they need to prepare hard. I don't know. I'm curious on like how that landed with the actors themselves. Like,
I'm sure they rehearse in some capacity.
Yeah, I'm sure like they go over their lines and like all that.
Although I guess, how do those guys rehearse if they didn't? I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure they like rehearsed with like another person to get their
line.
Or maybe it was improvised. Improvisation on TV, on screen is like awesome. I love that. But like, I don't know. I don't know. I would be terrified as an actor. And so like I applaud actors who are able to do that and do it confidently. But yeah, I'm really curious on like how like those two men were like going into that scene. Like how was it for them? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they seemed to appreciate it for how it built the tension, I think, and how like there was that buildup of, I know who this person is, but I don't know what he looks like until they do, and then that's captured. I mean, I think in theory, I like those little directorial choices, but only if they're merited and not if it's a director vanity thing. Like you hear things, and even it's not even reflective of what's on screen, but even stuff about how like Bradley Cooper, or maybe it was Nolan, or both of them don't have chairs on set because they don't want people to sit, which I think is the most ridiculous thing.
Inaccessible work.
Exactly. What? We're like, they won't have chairs because they don't want people to sit down. And also, that's not even just a them thing. I very briefly did a training program through the Directors Guild of Canada, because there was a point when I thought I was going to be an AD or a production assistant. And they even said, when you're on set as a PA for the day, don't sit down, because people will think you're lazy and it's not a good reflection of your work ethic. And I'm like, these are 14-hour days. What?
Yeah.
And I did it. My first day on set, I did not sit down. And then the guy who was in charge of me said, you can sit, Matt. And I said, no, they told me I can't. And he said, that's ridiculous and it's not safe. So sit down, it's not being used.
There's a lot of jobs that do not want you to. I was pregnant as a bartender and asked for a bar stool to sit on, and the owner of the restaurant was like, absolutely not.
Oh my God.
It is so wild. Like running a set, running a rehearsal room, and like in a way, because like I have actors who are like, I need this, I need that, and they're scared to ask for it because in other institutions they've been like denied or like violated because of it. And I'm like, what are we doing, people? We're telling stories. Like, this is supposed to be fun.
I think we have to hope that all of the actors in this were on board with this style.
Yes.
Like, I think we just hope that that's true.
Right. That's the best environment for it to work, because there are other places where that style doesn't work because not everyone's on board. Like Alec Baldwin on the set of Rust.
Get out of here.
Oh, that didn't work at all.
Get out of here.
Trying to elicit a real reaction, and it turns into this PR disaster. Not to mention people were killed. Sorry, should I not say killed? They were unalived. Anyway, sorry, folks. I'm probably going to see that movie, though.
Rest in peace to her.
Is it still coming out?
I think it is.
What disrespect. I could never put my name on that project after that. What the hell?
Yeah, I feel like we should have a moment for whatever her name was. I want to find out what her name was.
The cinematographer.
Yes. Helena Hutchins.
Carter?
No.
Good.
Yes. Respect for Helena Hutchins. Rest in peace.
Rest in power.
Rest in power. Thank you for your work. Yeah. It also brings to mind, I mean, well, this was directed by Celine. What's Celine's last name?
Dion?
Celine
Song.
Celine Song, yeah. So,
which I actually thought was Celine Dion when it came up on screen.
Oh, that would be amazing if Celine Dion started directing movies. I was watching an actress roundtable. I think it was Hollywood Reporter recently, and Jennifer Lawrence and some other actresses were talking about the difference between being on a set with a female director versus a male director, and just that whole level of kind of respect that almost, Lisa, I think you were alluding to when you were saying like, these are things we want that we're scared to ask for. And Jennifer Lawrence said, I've worked with, who's the guy that did X-Men? That's not great. Bryan Singer.
Oh yeah.
He is much less than great.
Exactly. He was like, I worked with Bryan Singer, and he's like the most emotionally like driven director I've ever worked with, and people were scared of him. And like, there's this unnecessary environment on sets of, if someone has another commitment and they want to leave early, you'll just be laughed off. But when I'm working with a female director I can't remember what the example was, if that's something that you want to bring to attention, then they'll actually work with you and say, okay, how can we make this work and adjust the schedule so that we remember that this is still like a job that has set hours, as opposed to, we don't have to be working overtime. We don't have to be killing ourselves. And it leads to a more productive way to work.
I also think it just like gives everybody on sets in the room the ability to focus on the work, because they're getting what they need, they're comfortable, and you're focusing on the work. It's like, I know it feels counterintuitive in a very like hustle and grind and capitalist way of working, because you're like work, but then you're denying the human of the artist to like be healthy and thrive. So you have to put that first. That is not very like hustle and capitalist and like go. I don't know. I can talk a lot about this, but I just wonder how Celine Song really ran with that while maintaining the respect and bravery that the actors found themselves in. So
yeah. And like, I think it's her first movie, so she doesn't really have a history or a reputation based on other projects, but just from what I've seen based on the final product, also just interviews with the cast and crew, it does seem like she created a safe environment. I would think, even just seeing the final product, like it felt like a movie that was made by artists who felt safe, I think, for that level of vulnerability that they had. And yeah. Distracted by the chat. There we go.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the movie? What have we not discussed? What was everyone's favorite performance of the three? Was it Greta? Was there something in one of the guys that people thought was specifically engaging or well crafted?
I mean,
think
I
Greta
feel
wa-
like, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I think Greta was the star of the show. There's no doubt about that. But the guy who played Haesung, I don't know his name, but the guy who played Haesung, I think did a fantastic job too. And I guess I related to him more, as a guy, I suppose. And I something we haven't talked about are the scenes with him and his friends in Korea,
Yeah.
which I think were all pretty good. I think all those actors did a good job of showing us what he's going through on the other side of the world and like giving us a little glimpse into his mind, his psyche, by showing us how he's acting around the people he enjoys spending time with. And now I know I've said this before, but the guy who played Arthur did a great job too. I don't know, have we seen him in anything else?
Yes, he is. I've seen his face a million places.
He's in
and, like,
Carol. He's in Carol.
Oh yeah, I remember you mentioning that.
Mara's boyfriend at the end, the newspaper photographer guy.
I don't think I've seen him in anything.
I feel like I gotta know what I have seen him in. Let me see. Hold on, because is he? Oh no, that's it. Never mind. I thought that was his movie. I was like, is he in Zone of Interest? No.
Nope, this is my first encounter with him. Yeah, no, I enjoyed him. I thought he was a
I've
delight.
seen his face somewhere else. I gotta find.
Oh.
I felt like the guy that played Haesung was like, I feel like he stood out on screen, and it was funny because he was playing such a subdued character, and I felt like she did a good job of showing this whole idea that most likely, because like if you look at him, right, he doesn't show a lot of emotion on his face. He doesn't he's not very emotive, which she kind of alludes to the fact that he's like a masculine Korean. And I thought it was interesting that she, like, when she's with her husband, she talks more. When she's with her husband, she emotes more. Like, she like makes emotions on her face. And when she's with Haesung, she kind of just does smiling and like, like saying things like that. Like, it's not nearly as much talking until that bar scene. Like when they, even when they were on the things, they just ask each other about their day. It wasn't like this very expressive talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's one of the things I loved about the movie and her performance specifically, is that it really kind of hit home the whole idea that you are a different person with different people, as we're, and even just layering in the language element as well. Like, I wish I spoke Korean so that I could get the full experience of this movie, but like as a monolingual person, I'll never have that luxury. But I love that. Like, it felt like almost totally different people, the way that she was with one person versus another, just in terms of her energy, in terms of like all the things. And I adored it. But you know who else I adore? Ben Gordon.
Hey, Ben.
Sorry I'm late, you guys. I just got back from New York City. I was rekindling with an old childhood friend, maybe potentially breaking up a marriage, maybe not.
But did you get
I
your
got
Uber
back
on
just
time?
in time.
Good. Well, we're happy to have you, Ben. Welcome.
Glad to
Thank
be
you for
here.
coming.
Here's the other thing. I've heard the whole conversation. I had it on in the background. I've heard every word you've said except for maybe the last couple minutes. But it's been great so far. I love all these past lives.
Right? So Ben, what was the opening question that I posed to everyone? Who were you in a past life, or what is your favorite movie about past lives?
My favorite movie, and you did ask this, and I was like, I should come up with an answer before I go on there. I should really think about it.
Ending Your Life with Albert Brooks? Because
I love Albert Brooks, and I haven't seen that one since I was like a little kid.
Oh, you
I really want to rewatch it. I saw it was on TV, and I remember one scene where they're eating like a big plate of spaghetti, and I was like, "That's a lot of spaghetti, and that looks really good."
Oh yeah,
I
because in
remember
Judgment
that.
City you can eat all you want and you won't
You can-
gain weight.
And you won't gain weight, so I remember that. What's my? I thought of one, and then I forgot, and it's back. It's Uncle Boone Me, who can recall his past lives, which won the Palme d'Or, just like Anatomy of a Fall did, but it won in like 2010. It's by a
Ooh.
filmmaker from Thailand who did his most recent movie was called Memoria with Tilda Swinton, which is very, very good as well. But that's about a man,
Oh.
Uncle Boone Me, and he can recall his past lives. Anna just chimed in and said The Fountain, the Darren Aronofsky movie. I also really love The Fountain. I haven't seen that in a while, but that's a good one.
I remember
too.
The Fountain hurt my brain, and I didn't like it because it hurt my brain.
I understand. Movies can hurt brains sometimes.
They can. I guess it also just I went in thinking it would be a nice, straightforward narrative about the Fountain of Life, and it was not that.
Yeah, just an easy something that'll go down easy, you know.
Exactly. But so Ben, what are your thoughts on this movie? What do you think of Past Lives?
I enjoy Past Lives. I like it. I actually it was the last of the Best Picture nominations for me to see. And part of the reason I hadn't seen it yet was because I kind of in my head, this was so stupid of me too. I was like, I feel like I know what this movie kind of is. It's going to be like long, wistful glances and things unspoken and things unsaid and a lot of longing and yearning, you know. And there's a bit of that in here, but it was actually the movie kind of surprised me. It was a much more sort of not talkier affair, but it was, you know, there was quite a bit. It was pretty dialogue driven, which makes sense given Celine Song's history as a playwright. And I found it, I think the concept of it is so universally moving. Like, I feel like we all have, as we get older and we drift apart from people and some of us move, like one of you said earlier, you know, there's this kind of inevitable wondering of like, what would my relationship be like with people that mattered to me most at that time? And I think that the movie really achieves this kind of, you know, this very universal, it captures that universal feeling, I think, very, very well. I think it did so in some ways by sacrificing a little bit of the specificity of the characters' lives, a little. Like you guys were talking about Boner, right? The
Yes.
book that Arthur, her husband's written.
Yeah.
I would like to know what Boner is. Why would she marry this guy that wrote Boner? What is that? You
She
know,
made a
like
green card.
I wish that the movie was kind of like, and also her plays as well. We get very, very, very little information about kind of her sort of,
Yeah.
you know, her exterior life in both of them. And as you guys mentioned, somewhat by design, they want to keep it very kind of insular about her and her husband and her and this childhood friend of hers. But I think that I was expecting, as the movies kind of get going, I was like, this movie is like probably going to destroy me. And ultimately, I don't know that it destroyed me, but I definitely felt the emotion that, you know, that I think you guys all did, that it kind of conjured up. And I don't want to jump ahead too much, but it was, I think, mentioned before about that shot where she walks into the Uber and back. And
Yes, I want to talk about that shot. Let's go.
I love that shot so much because I've never really seen a movie like capture that feeling when you're like with someone and you see them go and then you have to kind of backtrack past where you just were with them like a minute ago, you know, and it just, you feel the absence of them. I know, Lisa.
I love it. So
Right.
much.
So I think I've never really seen a movie like make me like feel that or capture that very like specific feeling. And of course that cut when we cut back to them as kids and they're kind of in the same like blocked position is like, you know, and the sound kind of cuts out. I think that's like some really strong filmmaking. I do wonder how you feel about the very, very, very last shot of the movie, because tell me if this is getting too far ahead, but
No,
I was kind of like,
ahead.
I wonder if I would have been gut punched more if we didn't see him again in the very last shot, because he's gone at that point, right?
Yeah,
And
I did think it was odd that we revisited just seeing him in a cab. I was
Seeing
like,
him in
yeah,
the cab.
I
I mean,
know he's leaving. The
we
last
know
time
he's
I saw
leaving.
him, he was in a car. Like, yeah.
Is that the last shot? In my memory, the last shot is her walking into the house, but I could have just
Yeah.
re-edited
Yeah,
it.
so that's the second to last shot of the movie.
Yeah,
and I
then
thought
it's
if
gotta
it
be.
ended there,
Huh.
I would have been like,
That would-
dang,
Yeah.
that's really good.
I think I made my memory make that the creative choice.
Same here.
And to be completely honest, when she goes up the stairs with Arthur, I was like in
Yeah.
the tears. I did not care. I did not care what was happening on screen at that time.
They got you. You were
If I was watching it now, I'd probably still cry, but I think I would watch it in a more sober light where
Mhm.
I wasn't drunk watching it the first time. But you know what I mean? Like maybe I would feel different.
Imagine how much more you would have cried if you were drunk, though.
Oh my God. Oh no. Oh God. We watched it in the afternoon. On a Sunday or something. So I can only imagine how much different the feels would have been at like midnight with a little bit of a
buzz.
point. Yes.
Yeah,
The movie also
exactly.
does a good job of kind of capturing, and I don't see this very often in movies either, this kind of like that sort of middle portion of their relationship when it's all via Skype and how
I
kind of
love that.
crummy
Oh
Skype is, and like
God.
that period of time in like the early 2010s. It's like everybody's kind of on Skype if
So-
they're doing long distance, and
Again,
I liked that too.
yeah, again, I know I haven't, again, this is not the immigrant experience. This is not moving around the world. But when my husband and I were dating long distance and I had to make the choice to move from New Orleans to, Washington, D.C. area, I was like, am I just going to leave everything? Yeah, I
Mhm.
guess. And that's that scene where she's like, well, when are you going to come here?
Oh,
And he's like, I don't know, a year and a half. And she's like, well, it's going to be at least a year for me. And I wondered, that was another one of those scenes where I almost wish I could have known what was going on in her head, but it was like enticing to me as a viewer that I didn't, because I was like, is she doing that thing that you do in your early 20s where you just like are like oppositional to someone like that because like you just want to see how they'll respond? Like, well, I can't do it either. And then like he's supposed to
Yeah.
come back and be like, well, I guess I'll do it then, like I'll come there. Like I was like, and it was so like specific to that age, right? Like early 20s. I was like, that's really like, that was I was like, can she really not go? I feel like she can. I feel like they're both being really hard-headed about it. I don't know.
yeah.
And
No,
so
but,
like, I was like, that put me back in my feels about like, am I going to leave? Am I going to go? Oh my God.
Well, they were like, they were like in their 20s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
24. Yeah. I like, that's such an interesting time in like life, right? And like I remember when I was 24, I was like I romanticized a lot of things, and like I was that person who would like poke the bear, and then depending on the response, I would have a different response. I don't know. That's so
I
so
do feel
I
like
think-
it's indicative of that age.
That moment for me was another one of those things that I loved about the character in Greta's performance, where she is, again, like just someone who is very sure of what she wants. And she even says, either in that scene or a scene later, like, I've had to immigrate twice to pursue the things that I want to pursue. Like, I'm very certain that this is what I want to do with my life professionally. And to me, that moment felt like it definitely had seeds of, I'm in my early 20s, like, I want you to make the choice. I don't want to, like, there is that, while at the same time, it felt like she was very much drawing a line in the sand of like, this is what I want for myself artistically and professionally. And I recognize that this is a sacrifice I have to make, because if we go any further with this Skype relationship, I will probably pick you and have to lose all of like my New York apartment, my New York life that I'm starting to build here. And that was, again, another thing where like she made a choice and I appreciated it.
Yeah.
Mm.
This is the first movie that I've had the desire to see like an early draft of what the script looked like, because I do wonder if like Celine had gone into the specifics that Ben, you were saying, of like what was Boner, what was the plays, what were all those things, or and like also like maybe there were more like internal things for
That's what I was about to say. I would love to see the screenplay to see if Greta's performance is informed by the screenplay as much or more than the directing, or mainly by the directing. Like,
yeah,
I would really be interested to know how much of this was on the paper.
yeah.
I wonder if so an early draft might be hard to find, but I wonder if the For Your Consideration screenplay might be online right now. I'm going to look it up and see.
It would be very
Mm.
interesting to know like how many of her thoughts are on the paper that Greta's giving us with her face. You know,
I
that,
found
like,
it. I found a draft. I don't know which
So
draft it is.
what
I
is
assume
this
it's the
for?
final one.
So for your consideration, is that what they're putting forward for like Oscar?
Yeah, so this is a fun
nominations?
thing to bring up in these Oscar broadcasts, is that I don't know if that link actually will work, but you can try
Click
it.
your screen, everyone.
Let's
Click that
read it.
link.
Let's do it. Let's act
Or
it
just
out
Google
right
Past
now.
Live screenplay PDF. A lot of the times, a few months before the ceremony, these studios will put out full PDF screenplays of the film, so that way you can read them online.
Oh, I
Um,
love this.
Yeah, and this one is here. So I don't know what draft this is. I assume this is probably as close to a final draft as they have. But it would, to your point, Jeanette, if you're curious about like what was actually on the page and what wasn't, I bet it would be a really interesting read.
yeah,
and
I
you
think
can
more so than
contrast them.
any of the other movies, any of the other
Mhm.
Oscar movies I've watched so far this year.
Well, the Oppenheimer script is written in first
Oh,
person,
first
which is really weird.
I
Where
want
he's
to
like, I'm going to do a scientific test. I am conflicted
Oh
about
God,
doing the
who
science.
wrote that? Did Nolan write that
Yeah.
too?
That
Yeah.
fucker.
See,
Oh,
that's one
geez.
of those things like taking the chairs away from the set, where I just think, how much of this is an
Oh,
ego move on your
he's-
part?
I love
Mhm.
his art, but he is one of those people that I'm like, I can almost guarantee he's probably not a great person, like to
No,
like
I feel
chill
like
with or something, you know, or
It's
like
like he's
talk
in his
to.
Julie Taymor Spider-Man phase, where they're just giving him too much power, and
He has a
like,
lot of power. Yeah.
rein it in a little bit. Like give Chris Nolan like restrictions to make the
Mm.
great.
But
Restrictions are good.
Yeah,
yeah, but you know what? Unrestricted, sometimes you get good things like James Cameron. So
but Interstellar.
still
Oh,
not a
God.
great person. to just
Interstellar's
chill out
great.
with.
Come on, what are you talking about?
Whatever.
Did you guys?
It's
I've
a
been so
moving
curious to
film.
ask this about past lives too. Is that one of my favorite moments was the very end there, and then my other favorite moment was the very first shot where they're in the bar and you hear you
Yes.
are introduced to the characters through
Oh,
the
yeah.
perspective of these like
Loved it.
bystanders, like people
Yeah.
guessing who they are, like what's going on with him and what's going on
Mm.
with her.
Yeah.
And I kind of love that because we do that
Yeah.
anytime we watch a movie. You know, we're making those kinds of assumptions sometimes about people. So
Or if you're a nosy
Um,
person like me, you just do it in public like that person that was talking.
that scene, though, once we get to like that actual scene towards the end of the movie and we're in their perspective, I was a little bit, I don't know. So her husband's character,
Mhm.
I think, is interesting because, like you guys said, he's very self-aware of his role in the movie. He's like, I could be the bad guy, but if this was a book, I'd be like the villain, you know. And he's definitely sort of allowing, you know, her the space to kind of explore whatever this is with this guy. But there were times where I was like, he might be a little bit too chill about it.
Yeah, that's what
And-
I thought. That was a very interesting because, like, when I see male characters like that, it interests me as a female viewer because, like, it's very easy for me and Lisa to sit here and talk about like the
Yeah.
female view through Greta, but like, male characters like that interest me so much because not only, you know, like, oh yeah, I hope some guys can see themselves in this character, like that's great, but it also interests me to know different men's perspectives on this character because
Mhm.
I think that can be so varied.
Mhm.
It's specifically with that scene. What I was hung up on about was that when they met, when he and Nora first meet at the writers' retreat, they're talking about the Korean concept of inyon, I think is what it's called, and it's the destiny and the fate and all of that. And then he kind of the camera doesn't like pan over to like cut him out. Although that actually reminds me, there was a scene in the Fablemans last year when they're kind of having the affair, and it sort of pans the camera slowly away from Paul Dano when Michelle Williams is looking at Seth Rogen. It's a brilliant little oh no, we're over here now. That kind of less directly happens in this scene, and they're discussing inyon again. At like her and Hae-sun are talking about inyon, and I'm like, he knows that word because they met and they talked about. That's like what they talked about when they
Right.
met. And I don't think he'd forget that. So he should know they're talking about
And he
fate
knows
and
a
destiny.
little bit, like,
Yeah,
I
and he
was
knows
like,
a
he
little
Yeah,
knows
he's
bit.
learning so he can understand her sleep talk.
And then he pays the bill. And I'm like,
That scene,
I
dude,
forgot about that.
that scene, I am not a man, and
Yeah.
that emasculated me. I was
But he
like,
paid the
my
bill. What's wrong with
God.
paying the bill?
that was a cuck move, and
it was a
don't
little.
even,
I'm
like,
sorry. It's a
that
little-
was a freaking
Yeah.
like
He
what?
can pay for himself. That's a good
Like
point.
maybe like I don't know. I mean, sure, it's nice, but it was the way. It was the
Mm.
way. It was the way.
It was
Okay,
the
well,
way. And Haystorm,
there's-
he wants her. Like
Very
we know it,
that.
and we know it because, especially, this is one of my favorite moments of the movie too. Is when they're on. I think they're on the boat, and he's showing her. She's showing him her wedding photos, and he
Yeah.
like takes her phone
Zooms in
and
on
zooms
her.
in to crop her husband out. And
Yeah.
looks at her.
Well,
And he's
yeah,
like, "Look at
who
you."
cares about Arthur in that
He's just
moment?
like, he's just like,
and
nope. Whoop.
the thing she keeps talking about, I thought that scene when she's in the bathroom talking to him outside the
Mhm.
bathroom again was this moment that I've never felt, this like wanting to know how this man felt in this moment because of his face. He's faced away from her, he's pouring the waters, and like she keeps saying the word Korean over and over again, and you can see his face
Yeah.
kind of get sadder and sadder every time. Like, okay, well, that's something I can't help. I can't be that. And then she also goes on to call him masculine, which I thought was an interesting introduction because like now they're going to meet the next day. And what did I just say? Like now his whole concept is that this guy is masculine. What does that mean? That he's not? Like,
It's a
I
really
just-
fascinating character. It could have been very much hard one way or the other in terms of like how passive or how sort of like much he's kind of addressing it. I think that I felt like he almost was a little bit like the movie is so kind of careful to kind of not really boil any conflict up to the surface. It's all very kind of internalized.
Mhm.
But I almost wanted a little bit more of like not his perspective or take or something. That's not quite right. But
Mhm.
I just wasn't sure that with the amount of information that we had about him, that I was like fully kind of buying that he'd like kind of come along and just be like sit there and not say anything. And
I would have liked
Yeah.
some more scenes of him maybe by himself, just a couple seconds here and there
Yeah.
of like us, because like it's the movie is past lives. It doesn't say that it's exclusively about her or exclusively about anyone. Like I would have liked. You're right. I would have liked a little more insight, but again, I think that feeds into the thing I'm feeling about her character too, which is like it's kind of nice that we don't know what's going on up here. That we're only
Mhm.
getting what they are getting from each other, which is what they say and do. They can all they can do is watch and listen. You
Yeah,
can't know what's
yeah.
inside of somebody's head.
And
That's
that's
a good
how
point.
life is, isn't it? I don't know
Oh,
what's
yeah.
going on in Lisa's head
Especially
right now or
marriage.
Matt's.
Yeah.
Like, could be anything.
Like I don't
I'm
know. It
thinking
might be.
about chocolate right now.
Oh
good-
Oh,
man.
and you have
Always need no
Canadian
chocolate.
Kit Kats.
Anna
like
left
immensely
her
better.
Maltesers here at my place,
Oh.
and
Nice.
Oh, I like that we both
they're
have.
so tempting because they're just sitting right in front of me.
should
And
eat
I
it.
promised her, I was like, she goes, are they gonna be here when I get back? I said, if these aren't, there might be another bag, and you just won't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you eat them live on the air, we'll all know.
That's true.
There it is. Yes,
I have a different perspective here,
you have permission.
and I think
Yes, Vince.
the cuckiness can be explained.
Oh my god! I don't
Oh,
If-
sure.
That should have
Yeah,
been the
yeah, yeah.
tagline for the movie.
I
The
think
cockiness
can be
can be I think I wish if we got to see more in his head, I think it's possible we would have seen that Arthur was trying to finesse a three-way, and
Stop
he
it.
wasn't. He wasn't getting that.
I did wonder if it was going there. I was like,
That would have been a very interesting direction to go in, and maybe I don't know. We can argue if it was a good thing or a bad thing that they decided not to open anything up, but I think
in more than one way.
Arthur was
Yeah.
attracted. Like there were moments, Vince. You and I were like,
they did have.
Arthur is looking at Hae Sung in a way.
Yeah.
What? Hey,
And
son,
then
It
they're
didn't
going.
look like jealousy. It looks like fondness.
Hey, son, we have Inyun. We are having Inyun right
Oh,
now.
that's true.
That
Yeah.
moment, I was like, "That's gay," and I love it.
Oh, I
And
just thought it was
I think-
awkward tension between the two of them because
I
she
think
wasn't
it
there.
was, but when he tells him we're having Inyun, I was like, I don't know why. That just seems so cute.
Yeah, maybe
I-
they were having a little Inyon.
Maybe I think he didn't get the vibe he was looking for from Hae-sung, and he's like, this isn't gonna work. Yeah, I'll just pay the bill because I find him mildly attractive. And
Arthur is a bisexual hero.
I
think-
will
I
say,
think
yeah,
that might be
they do
what's
have
going on there.
They
Yeah.
do have that scene in the bedroom where, like, they're very frank with each other, like in a way that I think like not many married couples are. Like, well, are you attracted to him? And instead of being like, no, she's like, no, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but in many marriages that would lead to an argument. Like, and what was that answer about? What was with the hesitation? What was with the questioning tone? Like, how about just the hell no?
Maybe they, we don't know their whole marriage. We don't know.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
we only know that their marriage, like green card. Yes, they love each other.
They've been
They
married
ha-
a long time.
Yeah. So like we know like big general specifics, but we don't know like the specifics.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I thought that was a little interesting. That was a nice little glimpse. Like, I don't know if that was intentional, if like the woman who wrote this has had just that open and like chill of relationships that she's never encountered a man who's like gonna be a little weirded out if you're not just immediately like, no, I don't find that other man attractive that's come halfway across the world to see me. Like, that would cause an issue in many relationships. So I'm like,
I don't know,
it's
Vince.
like a
I think
weird.
I think the
when I
key there is
said-
that, like, as soon as she comes back, he's playing the video game. She says right away, "You were right. He came here to see me." So, like,
Yeah.
they have such an. It almost feels unrealistic, the level of communication that
That's-
they have between the two.
Okay,
No, it
in
does
all
not feel
honesty, that's how I felt. No, in all honesty,
No.
that's how I felt. I was
I'm
like,
sorry. Vince and I have these conversations, and it works. It's like that, and we haven't been married for as long as Nora and Arthur have. But
We
like,
haven't been married
You're
at
married?
we're not married.
Oh, okay.
all. As far as I know.
As far as I know,
I mean,
not yet.
yeah, no marriage.
Maybe one day. But
That's okay,
we've
I
had
don't wear
these
one either, but I am.
we've had these conversations where both of us are like, we'll be like, that person is attractive, or like this person from our past is like, they've popped up, and I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're very frank about that, but I think it's because we have
And
we have
who's frank,
discussed our-
Lisa?
no, we've discussed like our conversation, like we've discussed how we communicate with each other. And like, I do think it's very different than I think like what is normal, but like the anticipated thing of like a heterosexual couple doing that. So I understand why people are like, that's strange. There must be something else going on. But I also am like, I like that because it's not the stereotypical like man getting angry at woman.
No,
for
and
being-
that it was refreshing, but I think that's what Ben was
Yeah.
getting at is like, when does it turn from refreshing to like questionable? Like, well, okay,
Yeah.
somebody would have at least gotten an attitude or raised their voice or had a tone or been sarcastic by this point. And
there was
to
there's so
some
much
degree.
love. It was so like
I think what I appreciate is that I didn't question it when I was watching the movie, but now thinking back, just in terms
Yeah.
of circumstances and actions, I feel like on the page, Arthur almost seems like an unrealistic character, that he's not more worked up about the situation. But I think it's also a testament to whatever that guy's name is, the actor John, to his performance, that it felt natural, or I felt like I was watching somebody who was just progressing the way that made the most logical sense under the circumstances. Because he even had the line where he says, like, he's leaving in 2 days. I know you're not just going to leave me for him. So just like go see him. Here it is. And I also felt like there was awkwardness and a sadness to all of his interactions. And that's set up so well by the shot that Ben was talking about at the beginning, where like you can't tell what the dynamic is between the three of them. And he is very much just like the third wheel off to the side.
Yeah.
He just has to work his way through the next couple of hours to get back to whatever his version of normal life is.
Yeah.
It's okay, Lisa. It's just a movie.
I know, but it's just so good.
But it is based on the director's real life, so it did happen.
Is it?
Oh yeah, and that scene happened. She was like, it was inspired by this time I went out to a bar with my husband and my ex.
going.
thing.
That's the unrealistic part. I'm like, what? I'm 36. I'm a 36-year-old woman. If that situation was presented to me, I do not think I would choose to be in that awkward situation.
I would be so not as cool as Nora.
Then again, let's be fair. Let's be fair, Lisa. How many of your exes are like Hae Sung? I ain't thinking. I mean, I know for me personally, I'll say none, 0. So like none of that chill or like.
But do we like
so.
Hae Sung? Do we like Hae Sung?
He's boring
like Hae
as
Sung.
hell.
He's kind of
likes pasta.
He's kind of boring, and also like, what did he think was going to happen?
He's a romantic. He's a victim of circumstance too. You know, what if Hae Sung was the one who came to America and his child instead of Nora? Well, her name wouldn't be Nora, that's for sure.
It might be Michelle.
It
might
would
be
have
Michelle.
been.
What was her original name? I forget. But her birth name, rather. Anyway.
Oh, it was what was it? Shoot, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. You kept saying it the whole time, and now I can't remember. Na
Young.
Something. Na Young.
Na Young.
Yeah. In a way, Hae Sung resembles the safety of nostalgia. You know, a better time. You know, the feeling of a warm hug from your childhood. You know, and that's a very tempting thing for Nora to be attracted to.
Yeah, drawn to curious.
And Arthur by extension.
Have you guys ever like reconnected with someone in any capacity, and the person you're speaking to, you're like, I don't really recognize this person at all. Like, I know that you're you, but you're also like the passage of time has molded you into something else. I liked that she's like, look, like you have a memory of me, and that memory is very real.
Yeah.
I was that person, and we had that real connection. But we're not the same, you know. I'm not little me, and you're not little you. And it's easy in God, nostalgia is such a tempting emotion, you know, because you want to go. It's easy to look back and really be like, wow, this was like, look at this amazing thing. And I like that she has a very grounded perspective on it, where she's just like, our connection is real, and our connection that we had in the past was real. But that past life that could have been is just that's just a hypothetical, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's Hae Sung's journey in the movie, is him kind of learning that.
And I love
and getting
that
at the hotel, that looked pretty good too. And getting a nice order of pasta in New York City, that looked like
right.
That was nice.
It made me want pasta. It really made me want pasta. I love that they used Facebook in the middle sequence, because that to me is just the perfect encapsulation of reconnecting with old people, like people, not old people, but people from
2011.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially just because it was such new technology that even though I didn't have like any reconnections akin to what happened in this movie, like by merit of the high school I went to, since it was a specialized like arts program, I didn't go to high school with anyone I went to like elementary school with. And so when Facebook actually became a thing, there was a span of a month or two where I was just all of a sudden getting friend requests and reconnecting with people that I hadn't seen since I was maybe 12 or 13. And it was this weird disconnect of, you look exactly the same, but now you're an adult, and it's so weird. And even just seeing what they were posting and who they eventually turned into it was such a trippy experience that I feel is very much kind of the heart of what this movie is. And the fact that it was expressed kind of through Facebook and Skype, that resonated with me in a way that I didn't expect.
I'm currently, I've made plans with a high school friend to meet like in a few weeks, and I'm like terrified because I don't know if they're the same person anymore. I haven't spoken to them. It's only been like through like Instagram messages, and we're like, yes, let's meet up. I miss you. But it's been 10 years. It's been 12 years. And I'm like, so I can only imagine Hae Sung's because I think because I mean, from an English monolingual perspective, I get Greta's perspective more, and it's very like she's so calm about it. But from Hae Sung, who still has the feelings, I'm like, oh, I get it. It's like all up in here. The feeling is in your chest, and like you don't know what's gonna happen. Oh. It's fun, but also terrifying.
What does Abby the Tabby think?
Sorry.
I love her.
Abby. What's your perspective, Abby? I think she enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
I think it's her favorite.
My
her
my
favorite
cat
of the
enjoyed this movie
Best
actually.
Picture
My
nominee.
cat watched the whole movie with me.
Oh, Eliza didn't.
Nice.
She was glued to the screen too.
Oh, I
Isn't
feel like
Eliza in the
would like-
chat tonight?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, she's using my mom's account to talk, but yeah, yeah. Eliza would like Oppenheimer because
Mhm.
she likes destruction.
Mm,
She's very sweet, but she likes things to be destroyed at the same time.
Abby likes that too.
Yeah.
They get along.
They would get along absolutely. Anything else we want to discuss before we go to the game for this evening?
I just love this movie so much.
Such a good movie.
I can't
Good
wait to
debut
watch it again.
feature too. You know, I mean, her
Yes.
first movie looks beautiful. It's got a nice score by I think it's Grizzly Bear or something. I could be wrong about that, but
Grizzly Bear.
not a literal grizzly.
Okay.
The guy that's
Maybe we'll get a sequel. Hey Sung's Revenge.
you
No.
never know. Past Lives 2, The Reckoning.
Hey Sung's Revenge. Slasher in New York.
I'm excited to see what else she does. She has
Yeah.
I think that one of her plays she like did online using The Sims or something. I was reading about that.
So
She like
cool.
told the
Seagull
seagull
on
to
the
play.
Sims 4? Ever-
Yeah, I think she did like the seagull in The Sims. That was what she did. That's exactly right, Matt. And I think that's such a cool idea.
Wow.
So I'm excited to see like what else she does in the film space if she chooses to keep making movies.
I'm sure she
Oh
will.
my
I hope she does.
God.
Yeah.
That's so cool. What a cool artist. What a cool writer. I love that.
I just want to see the seagull with the Sims now, or even just the seagull. I've never seen the seagull.
I've seen the seagull. You don't need to see the seagull.
I don't. Okay.
Matt.
What about Uncle Vanya? I don't.
You can
yeah.
go see Uncle Vanya at the CAA theater in Toronto
That's,
now.
that's why I asked. I'm like, do I want to sit through a Chekhov play? Because I've
I
never
heard
had to.
I heard the adaptation by Lisa Repo Mattel, her name is. I
Mhm.
forgot. Is good. I'm not
Any
interested.
relation?
No, she spells her name with 2 I's. Suspicious.
Lisa.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, I meant Mattel. You said Mattel. I meant any relation.
Oh,
Oh,
I
that-
thought you were like Lisa.
That's what I thought too. Okay.
I want to see
No.
Jason Segel in The Seagull.
Don't we all? I do too.
That's funny.
Yes. All right. Well, here we go. On to the game. The game tonight is called The Math of Love Triangles. It's about love triangles or love
Oh.
corners.
Love corners.
Yes, love corners. So it's
Love
gonna be
parallelograms.
it's gonna be a slightly different format from usual, but let's see if it works. Let me get the scoreboard up and ready.
Do we need paper and pen?
Wait, do you? Yes, you do.
Good. All right.
Okay, so how tonight's game is going to work, as per usual, there is opportunity to get multiple points per round, but it will be slightly different because what's going to happen, and I don't know if this will work, but we'll find out together. How the game is going to work is it's all based around movies, plays, or are any of these books? Well, kind of like popular media things, stories that are all focused and based around love corners or love triangles. No, I think these are all corners actually, but
All corners, no triangles.
all corners,
Oh,
no triangles.
Because we just schooled him on what
Yeah.
a love triangle actually.
Most love triangles are actually love corners. It's true.
Yeah.
So I am going to just recite the names of characters that are involved in a love corner. And when you think you know the property, the title of the movie, book, musical, TV show, whatever, just shout it out. The first person to shout out the title of the thing that features this love corner will get 1 initial point. All right.
Okay.
So that's the first chunk of this. But there is opportunity for the rest of you to get more points because after the person identifies correctly what the title of the thing is, then they get to like write down match game style who they feel the apex of the love corner should have ended up with. yeah.
Okay.
And then
Should've-
everyone else has to guess what that person said. So let me,
okay.
yeah. So let me think.
I'll a match game. kind
Yeah.
of.
So if it were let's
sample.
say friends, Rachel, Joey, and Ross, because this is an example I didn't actually use in the game.
Yeah.
So if I were to say Rachel and then I say Joey, and then all of a
Friends.
sudden Lisa shouts out friends, exactly. It's like, yes, Lisa, you get the friends.
Okay.
point. But now Lisa has to write down if she thinks Rachel should have ended up with Joey or Ross. And
Could
all of
I
you have to
could I
guess.
write down Rachel and Monica?
No, it has to be.
No.
It
Has to be part of the corner.
It has to be within the
Okay.
corner.
Okay.
And then all of you have to predict what Lisa will say.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. So it's kind of like match game. A little.
Okay. I like this. Okay, great.
All right. So kind of complicated, but kind of easy. So here.
No,
we
it's
Yeah.
fun. I like it. I like the change up.
go. Thank you. Thank you. I hope it works. Here we go. So first love corner. Eric. Christine. You can shout out any time if you know.
Boy Meets World.
Raul.
Oh,
True.
Raul.
No, that's
Eric?
not True Blood.
Christine.
Fear and
Raul.
Loathing in Las Vegas.
No.
Eric, Christine, Raul.
Raul.
Matt, can you tell us what the media
Hotel.
is? Like if it's a book or a film? or...
This one is a book, a film, and a stage production.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay. This is classic. This is classic.
Shiza.
The Grand Budapest Hotel? No.
I could
No.
give you another name Eric goes by, but it will give it away.
Give it.
Christine
Kick-Ass.
Raoul or the opera ghost.
Phantom of the Opera.
Yes, Lisa, you got it. Okay.
Sorry.
Eric.
That's
Yeah,
his
it's
name.
Eric. Yeah,
Eric?
It's
What
Eric.
a
With a K,
lame
though.
name for a
Eric with a K.
phantom.
Wait,
Yeah,
is it
he's-
Eric with a
his
C
name's
or a
Eric.
K?
With a K. It's
K.
Eric with a K.
Oh, that's
K.
way cooler.
yeah.
That's
So
cool.
now, Lisa, please write down if you think Christine, the opera singer, should have ended up with her childhood sweetheart or her creepy stalker opera teacher, who was gaslighting her.
It's like if the Phantom of the Opera's name was like Kevin.
Yeah.
Chad.
So let's see what everyone thinks Lisa will guess.
Dulls a little bit
Okay.
of the mystique.
I want to know why. I want to know why.
Eric, okay, Vince.
I'm going with Eric.
Lisa, who do you think Christine belongs?
I want to know why all of you think I would do that.
It just makes sense.
Because it's cooler and the other guy's boring.
Vince, why do you think I would do that?
Well, didn't Matt say the other guy's a creepy stalker?
No, Eric's the stalker.
No, he's
Oh.
Phantom is the creepy stalker.
Oh, then I picked the other guy. I'm changing my
Too
answer.
late. You wrote it down. It's in ink.
We're
We
going
all
with
picked
Eric with a K.
You're right. It was Eric.
Yes.
You're going with the
Lisa,
creepy
why do you think
stalker.
that?
Okay, so I love
Creepy stalker.
Matt and Ben. When you come to my play, you'll understand. I love a complex, like, end up relationship with the toxic person. Like, I love it. I think it's so complex. It's so much more interesting. It's like a character flaw for our protagonist. Like, I love it. If she just ends up with Raul, boring. No movie, no show. Like, get out of here.
no movie, no show.
Although she did end up with Raul, and we did get a sequel. We got Love Never Dies.
I never saw that, and I don't want to see it.
Apparently, it's terrible, and Christine does actually die.
Well, she had
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow,
it
what a
takes place in
misleading
Coney
title.
Island for some reason. They
Love
go from
Never
Paris to
Dies.
Coney Island, and her best friend, the ballerina Meg, becomes the villain, and she's like, "I am jealous of you, Christine. I am going to try to kill you and take the Phantom for myself." That's
It's
that's
like
what-
No Time to Die. There was plenty of time to die in that movie. I don't like when titles lie like that.
right.
die.
Love does die. Next, this one might be easier. Rick, Victor, and Ilsa.
Oh, Casablanca.
Yes, Casablanca.
Yeah.
Can you remind me which one's Humphrey Bogart?
Rick.
Eric.
Eric. It always comes back to Rick. So again, now we are all guessing who Jeanette thinks Ilsa should have ended up with: Rick / Humphrey Bogart or Victor Laszlo.
Was Laszlo a Nazi?
I think he might have been. No, they were running away from the. Weren't they running away from the Nazis? It's been a long time. It's been
Wasn't
like
it?
3 years.
That could be a stupid thing I almost just said. Hold on.
What if?
Let me-
Come on, I have a question. What if, like, who's the other guy? Rick and
Victor.
could Rick and Victor end up together?
I mean, they are in the love corner. Like that is
They're part of the love triangle.
Yeah. But
Richter.
Lisa, you're not the one making the decision right now, unless you
I
think
know.
that's
I just wanted to clarify the rules.
Oh, for sure.
They
No,
are escaping Nazis. Yes.
Yes.
It is 1942. I almost said I think that movie's before the Nazis, and I was like, no, there's Nazis in them.
No, there's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
But yes, for future reference, like Lisa, if you had guessed Casablanca, it would be your right to say that yes, Rick and Victor could end up together, and
Okay,
people can guess that as well if they so desire.
great.
what do
It
you
just
think-
has to be within the
Yeah,
situation.
within the situation, you just can't bring
But
in.
you have to
outside
think
people.
that I would say it, or you have to think the person.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
So let's see, Lisa, what do you think Jeanette said? Let's get these guesses.
Rick.
Rick, Vince,
I guessed Rick.
Ben.
Happy, what do you say? She's telling me.
Oh yeah,
She's whispering.
Rick.
said Rick and Jeanette.
Yeah. It's because of the toxicness, right?
No,
Toxic.
he's cool, and the other guy is
He
boring.
was
I can't
cool.
stand boring men. in
Okay, but, like,
movies.
cool?
It drives me crazy.
But here we go. Cool sometimes equals toxic. And that,
Most of the time,
Yeah.
yes.
yes.
Like George Costanza in that one episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Where he's
Yeah.
wearing a Letterman jacket because this girl thinks he's a badass.
Back when Letterman jackets were a sign of badassery.
Yeah.
Okay. That sadly Seinfeld does not make this list. Next,
No.
Oh,
actually, I don't know if this one's easy or not, but we'll see. Julianne, Michael, and Kimberly.
Halloween.
Wait. I don't want to cheat.
Michael, Julianne, Michael.
No,
and
that's
can you
not
give us the medium?
Movie.
The Power Rangers. No, I'm
No.
kidding. You said Kimberly.
Julianne,
Kimberly makes me think of Power Rangers.
Michael, Kimberly. Can you give us a hint?
It's a
Say a
movie.
little prayer for you forever.
Oh, My Best Friend's Wedding.
Yes.
Oh,
I have never
I'm-
seen them.
I haven't either, and Anna's gonna kill me.
It's been a long
classic.
time.
It's a classic.
Now
She
remind
loves it.
me.
Not
Remind
long
me.
enough.
Which one is which one's which?
So
Which
Michael
one's
is
Julia Roberts.
Dermot Mulrooney. Julianne is Julia Roberts, and Kimberly is Cameron Diaz.
Okay, I was gonna say which one's Cameron Diaz, but I couldn't remember for sure if it was Cameron Diaz. Okay.
Who's
Yep,
Michael?
so for context, oh yeah,
Mike-
Michael is Dermot Mulrooney. The crux of the premise is that Julianne and Michael were like not childhood sweethearts, but like college, university in their early 20s, kind of flingy couple. And they decided, well, if we're not married by the time we're 30 or 35, we'll marry each other. And then that year comes up, and then he calls her, his best friend, Julianne, to say, hey, guess what? I'm getting married, and I know I haven't spoken to you in ages, but I want you to come and be a part of the wedding because you were an important part of my life. And when she gets the call, she thinks that's him saying, oh, I'm still unmarried. Let's get together. So the movie is Julia Roberts trying to break him up with Cameron Diaz.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Drama. I love it.
Yeah. It's kind of a messy movie, but like in a good way.
I love mess.
Yeah.
Mess is delicious.
I feel like you would love that movie, Lisa.
I probably
Yeah,
you know what? Maybe I
I
should.
was gonna say Anna's right. It's so much worse. It's if they're not married by 28. I was like 35 sounds
Oh, it's
late.
28.
Mm.
Yes. And
It's
also,
like, heaven forbid you not be married
So
by
arbitrary.
28.
and like the place that Julia Roberts is in her career by 28 in that movie is almost the most unrealistic thing because she's like,
Considering she
a
was
New
just
York
a hooker
Times
a
food
few years
critic?
before
I
that.
know.
It's really shocking.
right? She climbed the ladder. It worked for
Yeah,
her.
man.
So so anyway, who do we all think Jeanette thinks Michael should have ended up with? One for Kimberly.
Oh,
Lisa, what do you think?
I think Julianne and Kimberly should have ended up together.
Okay.
Oh, what a scene.
Vince.
I blanked and I forget all the characters' names, so I've got nothing.
Okay.
Oh, well, pick one, Julie or Kimberly.
Julia Roberts.
Who did you say? Julia Roberts. Oh, okay. So Vince,
Yeah.
you got the point.
Yep.
There we go.
If that, just for future reference, if Julia Roberts is an answer, that's my answer.
Okay.
But like, think about it: Julia Roberts and Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, Cameron Diaz is a little skinny for me, but yeah, I can see it.
I mean, they do have a lot of tension. It's not necessarily sexual in this movie, but also it kind of is.
They
Yeah.
could make it. I could make it. Just by
There is a cat fight in the women's room as like the climax of the
Yeah,
movie.
there is. Yeah.
And actually, they even a woman comes out of the stall and she yells "cat fight," and then all the other women like come out of the stalls and like into the bathroom to watch them start screaming at each other.
That's so funny. I love
Yeah.
it.
And there's a musical number for some reason opening the movie and in the middle of the film. It's
Yep.
actually I want to rewatch this movie now.
It is good.
We should add it to the list, Vince.
It's on the pinwheel.
Next, Andy, Blaine, and Ducky.
16
Woman.
Candles.
Oh yeah.
Pretty 16 Candles.
Pretty.
I think it's Pretty in Pink,
Pretty in
but it might
Pink?
be 16 Candles.
Oh no,
think
I
it's
think
16
Ducky is
Candles.
pretty in pink.
Is it? When
No,
you said Ducky,
16
I knew it was
Candles has Long Duck Dong.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it's Pretty in Pink. Wait, did anyone say
Damn.
Pretty in Pink?
I think
Oh,
Vince
Vince
said it
I said
first or-
Pretty
or
Woman.
Jeanette.
Oh,
I
he
was
said
thinking Pretty in Pink. I said Pretty Woman.
Well, okay, well let's give it to Vince.
What?
Yeah, you meant to say Pretty.
Congratulations, Vince.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Well
everyone.
done.
So
All right,
Vince,
so
who do
which
you
one
who
are
do
you
you think
picking?
Andy should have ended up with? Blaine or Ducky? I mean, don't tell us.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking. Who played Blaine? Because I remember Ducky.
Blaine was Andrew McCarthy.
Oh.
I've never seen this movie. I have no context.
I
I
haven't
also have no
either.
opinion.
I haven't either.
I haven't seen it.
Ducky is like the childhood best friend. I know that. And Blaine,
Mhm.
I guess, is like the high school heartthrob. And I think, well, they shot one ending and then it didn't test well with audiences. So they changed the ending. So she ended up with the other guy.
Oh.
So both answers exist.
You
Somewhere.
make a whole movie and then you get it wrong. You gotta. Oh no, the other one.
Sorry. Can I get the repeat of the names again?
Yeah. So Andy is the girl.
Yeah.
Blaine and Ducky are the two guys. Ducky is the childhood friend. Blaine is like the high school heartthrob, I'm assuming. Because it was Andrew McCarthy. Yeah.
It'd be like if with the shoot, I lost it. Sorry. I was gonna say something with the shoot, I had it on the top of my tongue. When you did say Ducky though, I did think it was what Vince was saying with the guy in the tree. You know who I'm
Long
talking
Duck
about?
Dong.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
in the tree. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I
That's 16
remember. is
Candles.
that
What's
tree.
happening? Hot
Yes.
stuff.
They're both
Yeah.
like John Hughes. You know,
Yeah.
I,
I've not
I confuse them.
Well, Ducky
no,
wasn't
not
he played by the Charlie
John
Sheen's
Cryer?
brother,
Yeah.
John
Yeah.
Cryer? Yeah.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say. It's like if you had a "Can't Buy Me Love" and nobody liked the ending, so then you had to change the title and the ending. "Can't Buy Me Love."
Can
Buy Me Love.
I mean,
Love. Okay. What do we all think Vince said?
love.
Lisa, who do you think Vince said?
I think Ducky.
Ducky? Jeanette? Ducky? I love you, Ben. Okay. Vince,
I
who
love
did
you,
say?
Matt.
the correct answer is and always will be
Ducky.
Ducky.
Yeah.
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 Wait,
We
so
know
who'd she get with in the final cut?
In the final cut, it's the other guy, not Ducky, Blaine.
Ah,
But it was
you gotta go
supposed
with
to
the
be Ducky.
original.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the original.
Yeah.
All right, next. Him. Jack, Will.
Titanic.
No.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, and Elizabeth. You
Oh,
got
wow.
it, Jeanette.
Okay, so Jack is Johnny Depp. Will is
Orlando Bloom.
Orlando Bloom.
This is so easy. This is the
And
Yeah.
easiest
Elizabeth
one.
is Keira Knightley.
Is it easy though, Ben? I don't know.
It's so
Is
easy.
it easy? Is
Oh.
it easy though, Ben?
It's so easy.
I'm not guessing based on what you think. I'm guessing what I think, even though I know that's not the point of the game. Sorry.
Is it for
and you-
Elizabeth to pick neither of them and just live out her days as the pirate queen?
No, there's a choice here. Even though I've never seen the movie, I just know my choice.
Never seen the movie? We did Pirates Month. Weren't you there?
I only saw number 4.
No.
You only saw the fourth one?
The worst one.
There's
Arguably.
5 of them and you've
The
seen
worst.
the fourth one. I love it. It's the best. You're the best.
I want to keep it that way for a bit, you know.
Just
Don't-
on Stranger
Penelope
Tides.
Cruz.
You ride for tides. That's it.
I ride for tides. I'm only interested in Javier Bardem and Penelope Cruz.
Speaking of
Javier Bardem's
movies
not
with
in that
titles,
He's in the
He's
movies
in
with-
the other one.
movies with titles that don't make sense. Dead Men Tell No Tales. Dead Men Tell Tales in that movie.
They do plenty of tales. So many tales.
Yeah.
Those movies just get so progressively bad.
Yeah.
But
But
my
big
favorite,
fan-
my favorite for number 4, my favorite justification is our friend Kristen Zaza, who, like, when it first came out, or not even when it first came out, but the first time I discussed the franchise with her, she said 4 was, if not her favorite, like one that she enjoyed, even though she knew it wasn't good, specifically because it was the only place she could see a mermaid. So she said her husband would walk in the room and say, "Why are you watching this movie? That's not good." She said,
mermaid.
the only
That's
place-
very wholesome.
it's true, but and now we have Little Mermaid, thankfully, which is a great movie. Did you not like Little Mermaid, Ben?
What's that?
Oh, you laughed when I said Little Mermaid.
No. I just think it's just a funny thing that she's like, I'm in this movie. I got to see this movie for the mermaid. I
Yeah.
just think
For
that's
sure.
funny. I like Little Mermaid. I haven't seen the new Little Mermaid, but I like the
Man,
classic.
The new one is so good. I mean,
Well,
I
gotta see it.
Oscar snub in my opinion. But what do we think? Who do we think Jeanette thinks Elizabeth should have ended up with? Let's start with Ben.
Oh, easy. Will.
Will.
We're not letting Johnny Depp factor into this
Listen.
equation.
Listen, I know
He's out of there.
I
He's
know
out
how
of there.
Jeanette feels about Johnny Depp. I know, and I still think it's wrong, so I chose Will.
Vince.
I'm going with Orlando Bloom because he looks like he smells way better than Captain Jack Sparrow.
3 for Will. Okay, willpower.
I said that she said, I have my own freaking vote. Goodbye.
Is that a choice?
Is that a choice? Because if not, I did have Will second, and everybody can have their point.
Oh,
Okay.
But I personally, I didn't know if he was going to let that fly or not, so I did choose a choice. But yeah,
Okay.
hold
I
on. Okay, so
personally,
I'm actually shocked that you didn't choose Jack.
Yeah.
no. If you watch those movies, there's no reason in the world she should end up with Jack Sparrow.
It's Johnny Depp.
It's
There's
what her heart
sexual tension.
desires. The
There's
couple.
sexual tension. There is no love, like at all.
Sometimes that's enough.
You guys like
Sure.
that Lonely Island
Absolutely.
song
Yes.
where Michael Bolton shows up and he just wants to sing about Jack Sparrow? They're like going to the club and like hooking up with ladies, and then it cuts to Michael Bolton because they brought him in to guest on the song, and he keeps going, "Oh, Captain Jack," and he's singing.
I'm
about
gonna
Captain
see this.
Oh,
Oh,
you not
Jeanette will
seen it
send
yet?
it to you. It's amazing. You will love it.
It's
And then
fun.
he
good.
goes into all of his other favorite movies. So there's a verse about Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
Forrest
God.
Gump.
Wow,
Aaron Brockovich.
Chocolates, and my name is
It's
Forrest
Forrest
Gump.
Gump.
oh my god.
And actually,
It's
that
really
music
good.
video sparked my favorite thing on Netflix, the Michael Bolton's Big Sexy Valentine's Day special.
That is very good.
Oh,
That's a
God.
good choice.
Valentine's Day every year. It's so funny. It's so good.
This is the tale of Captain Jack Sparrow.
Pirate so brave, the 7 seas. Can we pair Johnny Depp? We can try.
Yeah.
Yes. Hold on. Let me construct a prison in my house.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay. Next. Oh yes, Jack, Cal, and Rose.
Titanic.
Panic.
Wait.
Titanic. You got it, Ben.
Oh God. I was like, what?
So
I like-
Titanic.
You got it faster than me. Damn it.
Because I know Cal, baby. I
I
put the
know.
diamond in the coat, and I put
I
the coat on
know.
her.
Did I ever tell you guys? I thought the guy who played Cal was in The Mummy.
Yes. Oh, everybody does until you get told that
Okay.
it's not.
He's got
Yeah.
that Billy
Oh,
Zane.
Not the only one.
Everybody thinks he's Billy Zane.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not
Who
the only
do
one.
you think he is in the Mummy?
The
The
mummy.
Mummy.
The Mummy.
That
The-
actor.
No.
That actor looks just like Billy
That
Zane.
guy is bald.
Yeah, but the
So
same
Billy
thing.
Billy
Zane.
Zane is- I think he's also bald a lot of the
He's
time.
very bald
Yeah.
most of the time. Yes.
Not in Back to the Future and Titanic, which are the only 2 things I know him from.
Is he not bald in Titanic?
No,
He's
Cal
not.
has
He has
beautiful hair.
hair. He has
Oh
brown.
no,
hair.
Billy Zane's bald most of the time. I saw him for the first time in my life in The Shadow, which was or The Phantom. Which
Oh,
one was
The
it? The Shadow
Phantom.
or the Phantom?
Yes.
Yeah,
The Phantom. I saw
Phantoms?
that as a little boy.
yeah.
From
That was
the
like a
Nickelodeon
superhero
cinemas.
movie before superhero
Of
movies
the
were
opera,
good.
Eric. The
He
Eric.
kind
Yeah,
of
the
looks. He kind of looks like if the Phantom of the Opera and Daredevil had a child.
It's okay.
Billy Zane. Yeah, he wears a lot of purple in that movie.
Yes,
Matt, you should do a Zane series.
Billy Zane,
Yeah.
and we'll do the Mummy as a joke.
And we'll call
Oh
it
my
the
God.
Zane train. And it will be
Oh my God, that's good.
from the caboose to the very front. And it will be like, let's just do the films of Zane.
If it gives me an excuse to program Back to the Future, sure. Okay.
Oh my god.
All right, so let's see who we think Ben thinks
yeah.
Rose
Oh.
belonged with.
Well,
Jack
wait,
or
this is
Cal?
a trick question, though.
Why is it a trick
Why is
question?
this fucking-
Because she can't end up with Jack. He freaking dies.
No, but in
Oh,
like
who
the,
should-
in
who
the
should
world
she?
where he's still alive.
She still made a
Oh,
choice, or she still
okay.
has the power to make
Yes,
a
she
choice.
made the choice,
Oh, yeah,
and then
yeah.
he died, and then she had to go back on her choice.
But she didn't. But she
No,
didn't
she
go
didn't,
back
though.
to Cal.
She saw
She
Cal on
became
the
his
boat.
widow.
Okay,
she's-
all right,
yeah.
all right. But we're playing like Jack's alive.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
Can I-
we're playing who you
Okay.
think in your heart, or who you think Ben thinks in
Ben
his
would
heart.
say, okay,
Who
Who
okay.
should it be?
Yes, who should it be?
It's Jack. It's obviously Jack.
One for
We
Jack,
got one Jack.
Vince,
Yeah, Jack Dawson.
That's right, Jack Dawson.
Jeanette.
I'm gonna give you my joke answer first, and then my second one. The unsinkable Molly Brown. No, I think she should have been with
Kathy
Jack.
Bates.
Ben.
Kathy Bates. Jack and Rose all the way.
Yes.
Cal is a villain.
Yay!
He's a total villain.
Yeah,
It's
who
a
says
real
that
guy.
she should go to Cal?
He puts the diamond on the coat.
Gold
and the
digger.
coat
Put the coat on her.
I ain't
Put the
saying
coat on
she'd be
her.
a gold digger. Okay, can I tell you something for anybody who cares about my play?
Yes.
Yeah.
I named my main character Jackie because of Jack Dawson, because he and Rose were my bisexual awakening. And
Wow.
I always, on my like sixth time watching Titanic,
Mhm.
I imagined Leonardo DiCaprio as like a butch mask woman. And like it was a
Which he
lesbian.
looked like in 1997.
Exactly.
Mhm.
With
And it
that haircut.
changed my heart completely.
And your heart
So,
still goes
Will
on.
go on.
and my heart still goes on so far as it has inspired my play. So there you go.
That's
I
beautiful.
love having that little piece of information now as an info nugget for when I see it.
Yes, the actors don't even know it. So there you go.
Well, they do
Before we
now because
move-
I'm sure 7 of them are watching.
I only have 4 of them, but yes.
Before we move on from Titanic, I just want to know if anyone's seen the alternate ending to Titanic. It's
Yes.
very real. I'm not making it up. It's so awesome. She throws the jewel off the ship, and Bill Paxton goes crazy. He just starts laughing maniacally.
Oh, I've
and
seen
there's
this.
And then there's
Yeah.
a shooting
shot of him
star.
over, and he's like, ha ha ha. And if they ended the movie that way, it would have like just wrecked it.
Yeah, that's way better. That's way better than wondering if an old lady died in her bed or not.
Oh
The
my
best
Oh,
part,
she
though,
died.
is
She
her
sees all the
speech.
ghosts.
She's there and she's about to throw the diamond over, but then her granddaughter and Bill Paxton, yeah, and like they
Yeah.
see her,
Yeah.
and then the entire crew runs because they think she's gonna jump, and then she turns around with the jewel and she's like, "Don't come any closer. I've got it. I've had it all these years. The hardest thing about being so poor was being so rich at the same time. But I didn't want Cal to help me, even if he wasn't aware of it. So I came all this way to return it to where it belongs." And then she throws it over the rail in front of everyone. And then like the assistant guy, he's like, "That really sucked, lady." And then she turns to the captain to Bill and she says, You look for treasure in all the wrong places. The real treasure is living life to its fullest every day and finding love," or something. Then she looks up and she sees a shooting star, and then he starts to laugh. It's great.
That's the end. That's the original.
Is that for real? For real? Like this existed?
Yep.
You can
Instead,
see
they
it on
boiled it down
YouTube.
to
Oh,
little
yeah.
sound she makes. That
Oh, yeah.
little.
Ben, do you recall we watched this together in Winters one night at like 2
I
o'clock
love
in the
that
morning?
we did that, Matt.
Yes,
That's
because I
amazing.
had just bought the Titanic special edition on DVD, and I knew about the ending, and I didn't know if you knew. So I was like, "Ben, come, you have to watch this." But you also knew, but we still reveled in it.
I love that. We reveled. We had a lot of revelry in Winters. That's great.
Exactly. It was great. Okay, next. Oh, this might be obvious, but here we go. Gail, PETA.
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. Hunger Games. Hunger
Yes.
Games.
I think Lisa got it.
Lisa got it.
I got it. I got it. I got it.
So, does Katniss belong in Lisa's mind with Gail or PETA? Gail is the Hemsworth. PETA is the other guy.
Josh,
Oh, this is a
it.
tough one.
I know, but babe,
PETA.
we've had discussions about this.
We have, and I know who I want her with, but
All right.
Peter's the baker,
I
right?
don't know a single
Yes,
thing
Peter
about
was the
Hunger
baker.
Games.
Does he ever bake pita bread, Matt? Huh?
I feel like all bread he makes is PETA bread.
That's because it's Pita's bread.
God.
Exactly.
I have a complicated relationship with the Hunger Games because of this question.
Ooh.
So
Who does she does end up with PETA, I believe.
she does.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So who do we think Lisa picked? Let's start with Jeanette.
I don't know anything. I just guess.
Okay.
Gail.
One for Gail. Vince.
I chose PETA.
Okay. And Ben.
PETA.
Okay. Lisa.
PETA.
I chose Gail.
Oh.
Yay!
Well,
I-
that's the
Wait,
one
so
I like.
his name is actually PETA. It's not Peter with a Boston accent.
No, it's PEETA. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
PETA.
Okay, when I used to read the books as a kid,
Mhm.
I was adamant that she had to end up with PETA. Now, as a 29-year-old woman, it's Gail all the way because it's just a healthier relationship. But like, I appreciate the toxicity of PETA. Yes, and it's not PETA's fault. It's
No.
it's the society that they're in.
Eh,
Because the whole games make just go watch the movies.
Oh, I can't remember if I did one of. I think I might have skipped over one. Okay, so I'm going to say it, and I can't remember. Tell me if I did this one already, and if I did, we'll move on. But here we go. Edward.
Twilight.
Jacob?
Twilight.
Yeah, did I do Twilight yet?
No, you didn't.
Okay,
No.
yeah, here we go. We're in Twilight Land now. Bella, Jacob, and Edward. Who do we think Lisa thinks Bella belongs with? The werewolf or the vampire? Edward's the vampire. Jacob's the werewolf. Bella's Kristen Stewart, aka Princess Diana.
Great Princess Diana.
I didn't
Yeah.
watch all of that movie, but she was good in what I saw.
I liked
Actually,
it.
Princess Diana has a very good track record for good on-screen portrayals.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Matt, did you see Casey and Diana at Soul Pepper?
No, I wanted to, and I didn't see it at Stratford either. And people keep saying it's the best thing.
Matt, it is so good.
But it was
Like,
recorded, right? I
I
can
think
watch
it's
video.
recorded on Strat at home. Stratfest
Oh.
at home. I think.
I'm not paying them for that. It's not.
I
even
don't know.
But okay.
Well, good depictions other than Diana the musical, which is absolutely horrendous.
I've
love Diana
never
the
heard
musical.
that. That's wild.
But yeah, did you see it, Lisa, in
I
person?
did, and let's just say that like Diana is not the main character in it. Like she is a
No.
device in it, which is so good. But the actress who played Diana,
Who
like-
was it? Do we know?
Catherine, it wasn't the original one at Stratford.
Oh,
She's
okay.
a Soul Pepper alum.
Oh,
Catherine something. She's really good. She was she played the lead in Doll's House like pre-pandemic.
oh, nice.
But yeah, it was really good. You should read the play if it gets published. It probably will. Yeah.
I'm always interested in Diana / the royal family from like a tabloidy, weird voyeuristic
Mhm.
perspective, which is not great, but it is what it is. Anyway, who do we think Lisa thinks Bella belonged with? Let's start with Ben.
Ed.
Thank you. Jeanette?
Edward.
Edward, okay. Vince?
Oh shit.
Careful, Vince.
Jacob.
Lisa?
The reason I made my choice is because Jacob wants to imprint on her baby, and that is
That's
so
right.
problematic.
That's
So
right.
it's got to be Edward. It's got to be Edward. The whole imprinting thing
Mm.
messed up. Like you
Isn't
do not
imprinting
imprint
involuntary,
on the
though?
baby.
Isn't it involuntary?
It doesn't matter if it's involuntary. Just don't do it. That's disgusting. It's a baby. Oh no. Has nobody seen Twilight?
I've
I
seen
don't
it
know
a
what the
long
hell you're
time ago.
talking about.
Oh my god. Okay, there's this whole I'm not even a Twilight nerd. Like I just know
It sounds like you are.
I'm actively anti-Twilight, so I made a point of not watching any of
so the whole point of the werewolf is like the way that they bond with someone is that they like make an impression, they imprint. They're like, I don't know if it's like their soul or like just their psyche on another individual. And because he loves Bella so much, but Bella is with Edward because she has now had this baby with Edward, he decides to imprint on the baby. And I don't know if it's like out of revenge or because he genuinely loves its baby. I don't know. It's disgusting. It is like the nastiest, like weirdest part of like fantastical world you could ever imagine. It's a baby. You do not you don't say I'm going to get married to a baby. That's essentially what's happening.
Yeah.
That's
Go
wild.
Twilight.
I know how much you hate Robert Pattinson, so like
I know,
that's
I
saying
know.
something.
Yeah,
You
but
hate
you know
Robbie?
what? I don't like Robert Pattinson. No.
Watch The Lighthouse. It'll change your mind.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
open.
Lighthouse.
All right, next we have Freddie, Henry, and Eliza.
Freddie,
My Fair Lady.
My Fair Lady.
Yes,
yeah.
it's My Fair Lady.
I'm simply guessing off of the name Eliza.
Oh, because of my cat? Yes, very good.
I was gonna say Hamilton.
Ooh, maybe, but no.
Yeah,
That's
Freddie
good.
Hamilton.
That's a good love triangle, though.
All right.
Just saying.
No, corner. Well,
All
I
right,
guess
so
sisters.
You're
It'd be
dealing with
We
someone who's
have
never
to hold-
actually seen My Fair Lady. I just know that Eliza
yet.
is a character.
Wait
So
for Audrey
what-
Hepburn month coming in May.
Yeah, I know. What are the other two names?
Henry
Frank
and
and-
Freddie.
Freddie.
Who's
Freddie-
Henry? Henry's her teacher, and Freddie's
Henry is the professor who he doesn't manipulate her, but he's the one who's like teaching her to speak proper, to be a lady, and take
Yeah.
away all the cockney. And then Freddie is significantly younger, like he's the same age as Eliza. He's kind of an idiot. He's very much like the 1% rich boy who doesn't have to work and doesn't care. But he loves Eliza, and he's like, "Oh, you're so entertaining, and I've never met anyone like you, and I love everything about you." And he stands outside of her door every night trying to get her to like pay attention to him, and he writes her a bunch of letters, and she's not into it. But she's also not into Henry Higgins calling her an idiot all the time. So
Feels like a lose-lose situation here
yeah,
for Eliza. Wait, is Eliza named after Eliza Doolittle?
Yep.
Oh, I love that.
I named my cat after Eliza Doolittle. It was
That's
it
really
was a long
sweet.
time coming. Yeah.
It's one of those movies I've seen like so many bits and pieces of that I feel like I've seen it. You know what I mean? Like I've seen like 35 minutes of it somehow, like
Oh, it's
spread
so
out
good.
over different scenes, but I haven't seen the whole thing.
Movie is so good. And the play is so good. And by play, I mean both the musical and Pygmalion, George Bernard Shaw. Granted, it usually provokes a lot of debate and
does.
discussion, which is completely the point, but I feel like people don't realize that was the point. And in some
get
from
angry.
some perspectives, people will get angry and I think write off My Fair Lady as being a product of its time. That's misogynistic because of when it was created, as opposed to
This
the
is
misogyny
misogynistic
and
to
the
make us
fascism
question
is because of the
misogyny.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're supposed to be questioning misogyny and that. Yeah.
Oh yes, and the other cat is named after Audrey Hepburn's other character, Sabrina from Sabrina.
Oh, I love that.
part of the
That's so
reason I-
sweet.
Want to do Audrey Hepburn month, and
Yeah.
that's May. Woot. But that's months away from now. So who do we think Jeanette thinks Eliza belonged with in the movie she hasn't seen yet from start to finish? Or Lisa, let's start with you.
Sorry, I was in mid yawn. Henry,
Henry.
because toxicity.
They're both kind of toxic though, but in different
Yeah,
ways.
that's true.
Vince?
Well, with Professor Higgins, because at least there's kind of a kink factor to that.
True, there is. He puts marbles in her mouth. It's a whole thing.
Oh
Ben?
my goodness.
I put Henry and Eliza.
And then Eliza. Jeanette?
Yep, the teacher.
The
Yeah,
teacher? Nice.
it's always a teacher.
It is always
Yeah.
the teacher. Okay. I think this is the final round. What a fun game. Okay. Oh, I haven't seen this movie, but it's a big deal to a lot of people, so I felt I had to include it. Allie, Noah, and Lon.
Lawn.
Oh, is this Saltburn?
No.
No.
Oh, that's good.
Give us a
Is this
hint.
a movie?
Because he
a show,
banged
or
the
a
lawn
movie?
in Saltburn. He had sex with an actual lawn.
It was a grave.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah,
pile of
well. It's close.
It is a movie.
Ah.
One of
Allie?
the one of the people who played one of these roles is nominated for an Oscar this year.
Is it a Star Wars movie?
No.
Wait, say the names again.
Allie, Noah, and Lon.
Ali?
Oh,
Noah.
oh.
Noah. Oh,
What
what's
am I
the
thinking of?
what's the gay one with Timothy Chalamet? Is it that one?
Call me by your name? Call me by your
Yeah.
name?
James and the Giant Peach, you mean?
It's something from the early 2000s, and I have it in my brain, but I can't. What movie am I thinking of right now? I have like scenes in my head.
Team America, World Police.
But there's no love. Oh, there.
Yeah.
I guess
think
there is.
I haven't seen it. I think there
Matt,
is.
what? So was this a film from what decade was this film released?
2000s. It was 2004.
Early 2000s. Yeah.
2004.
Is it The Notebook?
Yes, it's The Notebook.
Oh,
I was
nicely
like, is there
done.
a love?
Because
Right.
Lon, I was like, that's a period
I was like,
name.
is there a love triangle? And I'm like, yeah, there is.
Oh, I know the
Yeah,
answer
James
to this
Marsden.
one.
James Marsden and that other guy, Ryan Gosling. And
Is Gosling Noah?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So who do we think Jeanette wants Rachel McAdams to end up with? Marsden or Gosling?
You want? Wow. I guess I
I
was
love
already
those
awake.
cupcakes.
I was already
Those
awakened by them,
Gosling.
but you want to talk about a bisexual awakening?
I know. Oh my God.
Rachel McAdams' existence.
Have you seen Disobedience, Jeanette?
I haven't. No.
I was just watching some like clips of Rachel Weisz and Rachel McAdams in that movie. Like literally.
They're both in it. Oh my god.
Yes.
Stop
And
it.
I'm like, I need to watch this again. Why have I been putting it off? It is
Double Rachels.
phenomenal. Highly recommend. Okay.
Okay. Well, Lisa, who do you think Jeanette thinks Rachel
Noah.
McAdams?
The only guess is Noah.
All right. Ben?
Noah.
Noah. Okay. Vince?
The only right answer here is Ryan Gosling.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 votes for Noah. Jeanette?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
This is like the girliest movie I've ever liked in my life. I
looks
was
so-
obsessed with
It
this
looks so
movie.
boring. Is
I
it
was
boring?
that girlfriend that made people watch this movie when they were dating me. I'm like, you have to watch The Notebook.
I haven't made Vince watch it yet.
You'll
Yeah.
just cry. Like there's a scene in that movie that it's like Bambi. I have to fast forward through it. I can't watch it.
After Past Lives, I still got to wait a few months.
I know.
This is
know.
this is a lot like Notebook is a lot like Past Lives.
Mm.
In all honesty,
A
Like you
little
said,
bit.
Lisa?
Yeah. There's a lot of correlation. Yeah. But yeah, no, I remember crying.
yeah. There's a oh god, I can't even.
And A Walk to Remember is another one that came out around the same time that everyone's seen.
It's by Nicholas
That's right.
Sparks, the guy who
Are they
wrote
all
the
the
movie-
Nicholas Sparks?
Yeah, Nicholas Sparks stories are kind of pandery. They have to
Yeah.
be, in my opinion, acted correctly to not feel that way, which The Notebook was.
The best one is Safe Haven.
What is that one?
That's the one. Can I spoil the ending of Safe
Yes,
Haven?
please do.
Sure.
Toby Smulders is like her friend, and then you find out it's her it's like a ghost friend. She was a ghost the whole time.
Ooh, we love that.
Ghost Colby Smulders.
Oh God! And the act this casting kind of the two leads kind of read Hallmark movie.
Is it Julianne Hough and
Yeah, Julianne Hough and Josh Duhamel. I'm like,
oh, Josh
God.
Duhamel, yeah.
Very Lifetime Hallmark.
So these are the
casting
scores.
there.
Ben and Vince are tied with 11. Well done.
Wow.
Lisa has 15 and Jeanette has
Wow.
19.
Wow.
Yes. So how many
Well
points do we want
done.
to wager for the bonus question, which has nothing to do with the format that these other questions were?
All in.
Oh,
All in. A true
All-
daily double.
I'm
I'm gonna bet 10.
10? Okay.
You're gonna Vince.
Just yeah. Okay. Here we go. So this is going back to the movie To Past Lives. One of the things that I found interesting was that Greta Lee, for all of her wonderful credits, she originated a role in a very prominent musical. So I would like you to tell me what musical Greta Lee was in.
Oh,
It's a
God.
musical that like sweeped the Tony Awards in whatever year
Oh.
that was. 2007.
Oh,
It was her debut. Yes,
2007.
2007.
And she originated, or was it a lead? It's a lead role,
It's
obviously.
a lead role. She
Yeah.
originated a lead role. Yeah.
Do you just need the musical?
Just need the name
Wait.
of the musical.
Hang on. So that means it's not a remounted production. Like this is a fresh musical.
Yeah, it
in
was a fresh
2000
musical. So in 2007, it was the first time this musical was staged. It had just been written. And let's see. Music and lyrics by William Finn, if that helps.
I know it.
I have an incorrect guess.
I have a suspicion it's a very incorrect guess on my part, but it's a guess nonetheless.
So let's start with Vince.
I remember seeing this around that time. So this is my guess. Ah, shit. I hope it's not Mamma Mia. No, my guess is Lord of the Rings, the musical.
I saw that
God.
too in Toronto.
Yeah.
I was at the first ever preview performance. I was in the first audience to see that monstrosity.
Bondo loves to
kidding.
talk about
Wasn't
that
it
movie.
so bad
Or
that like
play,
it didn't
rather.
go to off Broadway even? Like like they tested it
It
here or
went
something?
they rewrote it and it went to London where it did decently. And it
Got
actually
it.
was remounted recently, like within the last year, in the
Whoa.
total opposite type of production. Like it was very big budget. The set moved and broke a lot, but it was remounted in a pseudo immersive setting outdoors in London last year. And it was the whole concept for their remount was it's the hobbits telling the whole story. So like, hobbits were also the musicians, and it was it looks like it was decent. But
Nice.
okay, one for Lord of the Rings, maybe she was Smeagol, who knows? Jeanette,
Kinky Boots.
Kinky Boots, okay. Ben,
My guess was Spring Awakening.
it's actually a good guess.
Oh, that's a good guess.
That is a good guess.
Lisa,
So,
The 20th annual Putnam Bee spelling bee. 20th the 20th annual Putnam County spelling bee.
now do
I
I
know
give
what
it to Lisa because it's the 25th annual
Ah.
Putnam County spelling.
I
Bee.
said 25th.
I
what
heard
did I
20th. I heard
You
20th.
said 20th.
I heard 20th.
Oh,
but
It's
how do you know that?
'cause
Everyone
I'm
knows that.
I'm
Jeanette.
Greta Lee. Will you marry me? I am a fan of Greta Lee.
That's
And her song was
wild.
"I Speak 6 Languages," and it's funny because in this movie she speaks 2. But yeah, I speak 6 languages. 6.
She's well on her way.
Anyway,
Are you
Lisa,
not-
you win 30 points.
So how old
Yay.
was she
Yay.
in 2007?
She was like a kid, like a teenager.
I was gonna
wasn't
say.
she? Like six.
No, she's Greta
No,
Lee's
so she's
old.
got to be about my age.
No, she's
2007, I
old.
was- She older than us?
She's
How old
40.
is she?
Oh,
Okay,
okay,
so
yeah.
okay,
would've
so
been
she was like in her early 20s.
Early 20s.
Yeah.
Yep. And all the people who played kids in that were adults, but like very young. Actually, 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee had an incredible cast. It had the guy from Modern Family, the redhead
Which
guy.
guy? Oh,
Jesse.
Tyler
Jesse.
Ferguson. Yeah.
Yes.
I like him a lot.
Jesse Tyler Ferguson. It had Celia Keenan Bolger, who's a really big deal in Broadway spheres, and she might have done TV as well. I'm not sure, but yeah, actually, just those two plus Greta Lee. But still, what a good cast!
What a great cast.
What a great cast! Anyway, congratulations, Lisa! Yay!
Well done, Lisa.
Love Greta Lee.
Thank you. I feel good about the win.
Sadly, that's not something Greta Lee will be able to say this Oscar season. But
Oh, it's okay. There'll be something else. She should have definitely been nominated for the Oscar, but she has been getting recognized in like other circles. So
yeah, like we just want her to keep working. We want her. To
yeah,
keep
that's
working.
all.
Yeah.
She was in Strays, that movie that came out last year. That was a naughty R-rated movie about talking dogs.
Oh my God, Vince and I
Oh
watched
yeah.
this weekend.
Who was she?
There's a non.
I actually don't know, but I looked up her credits and she was in Strays.
Interesting.
So she's got range. She can do it
That's a
all.
wild movie.
I
That
think
was
she was one of the
wild.
dogs.
I
think
guess
that
she
would've been fun.
was. I
I've
think
never
Yeah.
heard of this movie, and I'm looking it up, and it looks
Yeah.
ridiculous.
If you
Yeah,
like
it's-
R-rated animated movies, go watch Sausage Party
It's-
too. That's a
I don't know if you'd like it, Matt.
Randall Park, Isla Fisher. I love this.
Matt,
Yeah.
it's pretty rough.
Yeah, this is rough. I don't
Rough.
think it's like it.
Rough.
Jamie Foxx, Will Forte. Wait,
Jamie Foxx is a Boston Terrier.
Yeah.
A very
Oh,
cute Boston Terrier.
why don't cats get movies made about them like this?
I know.
They got a
agree.
musical.
Let's not discuss.
Yeah, and then we got Taylor Swift with a CGI butthole. Great.
That was wild.
No, they didn't release the butthole.
They didn't release the butthole. I know.
They
Where's
released
the
the Judi
butthole
Dench
cut?
wedding ring cut.
What about Cat on a Hot Tin Roof?
That cat's metaphorical.
Oh, like Dog Day Afternoon.
I feel like that dog is also a metaphor, but I don't know for a fact.
Oh no, there's no dog in that film.
What a waste. Anyway. Oh yeah, Past Lives, good movie. Let's quick go around. If you were to vote for this movie as your pick for Best Picture, what would the logic be? Or what would the logic be for choosing to spoil your ballot?
I would shoot. Okay, so does it matter if I like also chose Anatomy of a Fall a few weeks ago?
No. We're all
Yeah,
these are
it's
all
all
different. These are all different lives,
Okay,
different
all
timelines.
individual. Okay, I would choose this to win Best Picture because of the strong scripts, the strong direction, the strong cinematography, and the strong acting. I think those are like the four things I personally look for in a good movie. And the fact that I wept like a little baby at the end, my heart is torn open. I sacrifice myself to this movie. Done.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can't beat that, so I'll reiterate what Lisa said, minus the crying part because I didn't cry, but
It's okay.
it still got me in the feels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ben.
If I were going to vote for it for Best Picture, I would say because it is about the past, but it's also about the present. It's about the now. You know, many of these films are telling us a historical tale, and this is I think it's isn't it interesting that so many major like Hollywood directors and stuff, when they become sort of auteurs, they make they kind of lean into like a historical sort of framework for a lot of what they're doing. This is a movie about today, but because it's about today, it's also about yesterday and maybe even tomorrow. Past lives.
Beautifully said. Vince?
Look, I really like this movie. So far, it's my pick for Best Picture, and I think it deserves everything else it's nominated for. I guess I gotta peruse the list of nominees before we talk about everything in whole. But I'm looking forward to next week's movie because it might dethrone this film. I know nothing about it, but I know Jeanette really likes it, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
This movie, however, reminds me of an episode of Star Trek called Tapestry, Season 6, Episode 15, where Picard is thrust into his past, and he has to confront past relationships and what could have been, and he makes different decisions that turns into, it turns into a life he never wanted at all. And it's a very good episode, and I was reminded of it watching this between crying. And also, this movie reminds me of a film from last year in a single sense that we brought up previously. I think Ben brought it up, was the final frame of this film. Or not the final frame, but the final shot.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree with you now because I eliminated it from my memory, and I think the final shot did, to some degree, harm this movie. Very much like the final shot of The Whale that found some success last year.
Oh my God.
I still laugh about to this day that
he
final
flies?
shot. I thought the rest of he flies.
Yeah.
Goes. Anyway, I don't know. I just think about like the stage production, and if they like had him on wires in a fat suit, I think that would have been great. I'm sorry for bringing up The Whale. This movie deserves all the wins.
The whale was fine. The whale was great.
The Whale was great. Harmed by the final shot, but
Yeah.
great film nevertheless.
Wait, isn't the final shot the girl from Stranger Things looking up at the sky and smiling? Or did I make that up?
Yeah,
Maybe
and then his
she's-
shadow goes over and it looks like he's flying. I'm pretty sure if I remember that correctly.
Wow.
I definitely just remember like the white light shining on him as he like
Yeah.
ascends.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
I could be thinking of Birdman, really. No, I'm joking.
Oh, I am thinking of the last shot of Birdman. But
I
maybe it's
think
the same.
literally I don't know.
Jeanette, why would you vote for this movie?
So I was completely enthralled, like I said the whole time. Like I didn't look away. I would vote for this. I'm thinking screenplay. I haven't seen it yet in comparison, but I would imagine the screenplay, the directing for sure. Yeah, I think cumulatively, I mean, like, just for instance, like, this is number 3 on my list now, and that's with Saltburn being number 2. So,
Whoa.
even though it's not technically on our list. So it's Poor Things, Saltburn, and then Past Lives, and then Flower Moon, Barbie, Oppenheimer, and Holdovers.
Wow. Good list. Good list.
Oh, I don't have Anatomy on there. Where would Anatomy be? Anatomy
right.
would be after Barbie, but before Oppenheimer.
Nice.
Oh.
Trying to figure out where. Oh, I need to make my list because I don't know. I don't know what the heart wants. Mostly between this and Anatomy of a Fall, because Barbie, I think is still always going to be my number 1.
I can't wait. I can't wait for all y'all to see Poor Things, man.
I know.
I'm
I can't wait.
scared.
I'm really excited.
Best.
I'm really excited.
It's
I don't know
great.
anything about it.
I can't wait to rewatch it. I'm hoping. I think, is it out on any digital stuff yet? I think so.
I
might
hope
still
it's
be in
not in the
theaters.
in-between phase where it's not in theaters and not streaming.
Oh.
It's still
I
in
don't know.
theaters for sure.
Okay, good.
It's still in theaters. Yeah.
I need to see it in a theater over the next like 6
It
weeks.
is really. It's a good one to see in theaters. The way
Okay.
it's shot, for sure.
Doesn't Emma Stone say something like, "I need to punch that baby"?
Yes.
I think so. Something to that effect.
I want to see it just for that. I'm excited.
I've been there.
And with that, here we go. Time for everyone to say their goodbyes. Tell us where we can find you, all the fun things you want us to know about. Let's start with Vince.
Oh, hey, folks.
Hi,
You
Vin.
know, I run a little thing called Vinny Ridge Media. You know, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I run a show called Only Time Will Tell. And I know I had a bit of a, crisis last week of what do I call which? It doesn't matter, because you know what? I got a new episode this week that's going to appeal to all you cat lovers in the crowd. You know, this is called The Psychic Cat of Quebec City. When disaster struck the St. Lawrence River, the mighty St. Lawrence, this psychic cat tried to save the lives of thousands. No, just 1,000, just a cool 1,000, but still pretty good. Anyway, check it out. I'll post the link in the comments.
Yes.
Thanks
please
for
do.
having me, Matt. This is always a pleasure. I'm happy to be a part of this.
Happy to have you, Vince. Thank you. We'll see you next week. Ta-ta. All right, who's next? Let's do Lisa.
Hi everyone. I'm Lisa. You can follow me on Instagram at Lisa_A_Alves. Right now I'm workshopping my play in Toronto. Only those who get a special invite can come see the reading. So stay tuned for a production maybe in the next few years. Other than that, I post a lot of just theater stuff and hamster stuff and my face. But you'll see me here next week on Teacup for One.
Hooray. Thank you, Lisa. It's Ben.
Hi, I'm Ben. I love coming on your show, Matt. I have such a good time talking about film with all of you. You can talk to me about film if you go on Twitter and go to @It'sBenGordon, Gordon. I'm also at @It'sBenGordon on Instagram. And I'll see you next, I believe, for the prediction show, which
2
is going
weeks
to be,
from
this is going to be a tough, 2 weeks from tonight. It's going to be a tough one this year, I think, for some of those categories. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to having you. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Hello. So I am Jeanette. You can find me here this week, next week, any foreseeable future weeks. And you can find me on We Like Theme Parks podcast with new episodes every Thursday. And you can find me on Instagram at TinkerJ787. So you can follow me there and see what's coming up.
Woot. Thank you, Jeanette. And if you're watching, this is my channel. Sorry, that's my pork. My name is Matt and I have 2 degrees. And yes, please join us here, same channel, same time next week, where we will be discussing Poor Things, aka Frankenstein with Emma Stone. I think that's what it's about. I'll find out over the next few days. And yeah, that's it. Thank you. My name is Matt, 2 degrees, T, cup for one. How do you end this?